Hear he, chat. Look, hey, listen. Sometimes great art needs great space. And look, bro, recently I've been kind of sitting back and watching how the world moves, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of enjoying how the culture is moving. It's really seeming like some bullshit. But look, I hope you're having a good time, because it's fucking Saturday, bro. It's March 28th, bro. It's already flying through this year. I feel like this year has gone by so fast that there's no real way of processing all what's going on. There's a lot going on. Like every minute by minute, some bullshit happens, right? Some level of fuckery, some level of debauchery that you don't know what the fuck is real and what the fuck is not real. Because Israel, I'm not gonna lie, the way things are moving, the way fucking shit is flying, I just can't make sense of it, bro. It's just so much happening. There's so much information just coming at you. It's just like BBC is just hitting your face. It's black.com at this point. I feel like it's so potent. The level of toxicity is so potent that it's made everything else so stale. In the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling a little overwhelmed, a little overexposed, a little over, how would you say, like, saturated. Everything just starts feeling so mid, right? Like, it's like whenever you start getting your ass beat so bad, right? Like, the rest of your body is just like, you know, releasing endorphins, so you end up having, you know, numbness where you're getting your ass beat. I feel like the way the culture is moving, it's everything is so divided. Everybody is fighting tooth and nail for some bullshit they truly don't care about. Because really, your opinion doesn't matter, right? Like, your government's not gonna listen to you. Do you think you have the say? Do you think you have a say in what goes on around the culture? You have a say on what is going to happen in your own neighborhood? Do you feel like they give a fuck about all that? I don't think so. So I think truly we just sit back, get you a cold one, maybe just sip on it, get some ice, you know? Because there's so much that's going on that you don't even hear about the ice no more. You don't hear about the Ukraine war no more. It's just, they're feeding you so much information. It fucking melts your mind completely, absolutely liquefies your chromosome to the dome. And I truly feel like that is on purpose. It is by design that you have no capacity of keeping up with the level of fuckery that's going on and getting produced out there. So go get you a bad bitch, bro. Just fucking get you a bad bitch, bro. Because that's the only way you forget these distractions. I feel like go get you a fucking backwood. Like, truly, I feel like there is no space between reality and fiction anymore. And the only way you could truly just live your life is just get you a bad bitch, go to the cabin, go out in the woods, get you some thick thought, like just watch some ass jiggle. Like, there's no real way of relieving that stress without getting you a thick booty. And whether you might be into that homo shit, I don't care what you into. Get you a fat ass, because a fat ass can make you forget about all that. Just the ass shaking and you like, hey, yo, that shit is all right. And I think sometimes you really need that. You really need that. And recently I got a fucking bed frame. I recently just got a bed frame. I'm about to be 30 years old. And that's the way people are living life right now, chat. The culture is mid as fuck. There's no fucking culture left anymore. There's no good news anymore. Everything online just seems so fake and so manufactured. But the fucking problem is that that is the way that the fucking world functions, that whatever is going on online is setting the course, the discourse for the next couple of months, next couple of weeks, even though that shit is fake. Everything that's going on, I've been trying to avoid this political bullshit for the longest time. But at some point, you have to let your opinion shine. You have to let your voice echo. Because there's no more rolling over and taking it, right? Like that's happened too often. Like we've kind of just let these people beat us into submission, and that's not good. I feel like that's what makes them more powerful. When you just roll over and let them beat you to a point where you're like, bro, I just want to focus on what I want to focus on. But they're the main reason that your life is going on the way it's going on. I truly see why people, you know, at like 21 to 25, they get married at a young age, start a family, because they need to focus on something and completely unplug from the matrix. But I feel like when you start a family, you truly get plugged into the matrix for real. You don't get plugged out. When you start a family, I feel like you're more dependent on the matrix than you are on yourself. Unless you get a farm, you live out in the farmland, and that's an whole nother beast. Because I work out in the country, right? Like I work out in a rural area. I work in the medical field. So I deal with a lot of blue collar workers, a lot of people that are genuinely working on farms and are genuinely working paycheck to paycheck. And they are not understanding how the world works. Because they're working so hard, they're working tirelessly, yet they're not making enough money to be able to survive another month. And people that work a little here, a little there, making millions of dollars. That stuff doesn't make any sense to me. In college, in high school, in middle school, you are fucking really like hammered in the fact that, hey, if you work hard, you might make enough money. You might be able to buy a house and you might be able to have a good life. But you have to work hard. But do you think these people on Wall Street are working hard? I have nothing against stocks. I have nothing against any of that life. I love getting my 401k popped up. But I know all that stuff is fake. It's a facade, all of it, all of it. And this whole shit going on politically, economically, all of the above seems to be really lifting the veil, and people are really seeing, oh shit, maybe Juan wasn't the problem. Maybe the motherfucker that's trying to escape the fucking hellhole that we created his country to be is not the problem, because we did it. What? Who could have known that if we bomb a country and turn it into a parking lot, oh shit, those people might end up coming here because they have nowhere better to go. America seems like the fucking angelic heavenly land. Because America is very good at propaganda, and I love this country, but it has become rotten to the core. We all know this. We all feel this. I love America. I am the biggest patriot. Bro, I got tatted up the day I was able to. I'm the biggest fucking patriot. Nobody can ever tell me otherwise. I love this country. This country gave me life. It gave me a home. But I hate that these warmongers, these fucking degenerates, these fucking losers that have nothing in their soul get to run it like they own this bitch. But nobody owns this bitch but God, bruh. And that's the simple fact. And I feel like people need to wake up and see that. The power that we possess as humans is beyond comprehension of these fucking reptilians. It's simple as that. But I feel like the way the world is moving, it is only going towards darkness. And I don't know if we can come out of it, chat. Oh, it's going to be a 12-hour war. Oh, remember last time when we fucked with Iran, they was mad as hell. Now they talking about the draft. Now they're talking about ground invasion. I thought we was going good. Brother, what happened? Brother, what happened? Hey, listen. It's like when you say, hey, my bitch down for whatever. Hey, I was cheating on her last week. She's still with me. And then you find out she moving out next week. Hey, yo, what is it? Which one is it? Is your bitch love you or she moving out? What is it? Your relationship look rocky as hell. What is it? And Chad, that's what I feel like is the whole issue right now. A lot of people are on that delusional state. They still think Trump got him. They still think Donnie Boy and Mr.Yahoo.com, they still got their back, but they don't. These motherfuckers got so much money. They got so much money that you have no idea what to even do with. You couldn't even imagine the commas that they got in their bank account. So what do you think you have in common with these people? Nothing. You have more in common with the average crackhead on the street than you do with these fucking presidents and these prime ministers. Because they have nothing to offer you anymore. They're liars. They're fucking absolute zealous assholes that have controlled our freedoms. And that is not what America is about. That's why we separated from our fucking bullshit ass owners over in fucking England. And that's the thing. If you go against our government or speak up against them, any criticism is looked at as treason. And that's not what it is. Chat, that is what this country was founded upon. What do you mean? We were founded upon people that did not want a united fucking states. They wanted individual rights over the fact that they had a federal government. The federal government has grown so fucking strong that they're talking about putting the National Guard in every state. What do you mean they're in their fucking airports? What? That sounds like they're getting ready to replace the TSA workers with fucking National Guard. They're getting ready to replace them with ICE agents because ICE agents do what? Oh, they listen. They listen very well. And Chad, it seems more and more that this world is evolving before we can truly get a hold of it. I felt it. I felt it evolving, genuinely. The last 3 months have felt like nothing but a blur. The way things have been flying by, the way things are kind of mid. The feelings feel like mid. Nothing feels exciting anymore. Because you're getting so polluted with all this other bullshit. The fucking financial burden that you feel of just living, right? Oh, if you don't pay the tax, man. I think recently I've just had some good pussy. And I think that's what's changed my mindset. I think that's what it is. You know, that's what's kind of made me a little was good, you know? Kind of made me a little bit different. It's kind of made me sit back and look at it as a third perspective, a third person perspective, looking at all the bullshit that's going on. And I think that's all you really need in your life is some good pussy. Or for the others, get you a fat ass, bro. I don't care. I don't discriminate. I don't care what you into. You like men, you like women, you like all of the above. E, B, C, D, A, F, G, A, L, G, B, T, Q, R, S, T, plus HDMI cables. I don't care what you like. Just know we're all fucking people. And I think that's where the problem begins, when they start making you hate each other. When they start putting in these arbitrary rules, these, how would you say, a discrimination clause, building walls around each other, compartmentalizing. Hey, listen, hey, I'm still an immigrant, bro. Compartmentalizing. Listen, I'm trying to learn new words. When they start sectioning out all of you, when they start getting you into groups, making you fit into a group, making you fit into this box they made for you, just know that's not what our forefathers were about. Our forefathers are about freedom. They were about just fucking justice. They were about standing tall, standing with your head up, and making sure you have your freedoms there when it really gets down to it. And I truly feel like that's where the bullshit is right now, chat. They're disguising freedom as enslavement. Oh, we know what's good for you. Come to our side. It's seeming more and more we're all getting indoctrinated. I don't know. I'm feeling more and more like the world is not as safe as it used to be. Life used to be just easy. It used to be simple. It used to be a good time. But then I think we got manipulated into a weird little box. I don't know. I feel like we were getting played on both sides of the fucking team. Imagine you go to the football game. Imagine you're going to your local football game and you're on team A's side and team B is an outside team. They're from somewhere else. But what you don't know is the refs are paid for by both teams. It's a rigged game from the start. So you're enjoying the game. You're watching. You're sitting back and watching and enjoying the game. You don't know the refs are bought out. You don't know what the fucking game is going to end up being. But everybody starts betting because now you see bets everywhere. Now you see gambling everywhere. And that just seems so wrong to me. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. Don't fucking... As long as you believe in God, that's all I care about. Like, honestly, that's the one thing I truly am and genuinely, like, at the core caring about is what do you believe in? Don't believe in nothing. Don't be that whole gay shit. Like don't be on that fucking retarded shit where, oh, I don't believe in nothing. There's no God, there's no hell or heaven. I don't believe in nothing. How do you think we got here, bruh? And people will twist your words, say that you say derogatory terms, you say this or that, and keep you in these fucking echo chambers. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I use terms how I want to use them, because when somebody starts limiting how you fucking speak, they're limiting how you fucking live. That's what happened where in my last relationship that I was in a while back, a couple years back, she started with limiting how I could speak. Oh, you shouldn't say that. Oh, that's not the right word to say. I have friends that will be offended by that, but you're not them. How do you know your friends will get offended when you're not them? So people start pushing their own arbitrary rules on you because they think what's righteous is righteous. But you don't know anything. None of us do. Stop pretending. We still don't know where we came from, really. Did we really come from the apes? Oh, wow. Then why are we still got fucking apes out there? Are those the fucking left back brothers? Why don't we get them on board? Why don't we fucking evolve them now? I don't know. I feel like we've been lied to since birth. And this type of brainwashing is so fucking deep. This level of brainwashing is so fucking deep that you don't do anything but just follow through. You can't question it all. But when you do, it makes you start to just break. When you start questioning one thing, you start questioning another, and then another, and it makes you start feeling psycho. And I think that's how they want you to feel, because you don't know what's real, because it is real. We're all under this microscope, whether it be with your friends, with your family, no matter what it is. Watch the red light. You're under record. Just know damn well you're on camera. Say cheese. And I think that's the saddest part about it all. That we can't make a mistake. We can't make a single mistake without somebody coming down and really laying it on you. We have to be so perfect. We have to be so model citizens that it starts to feel less like life and more like a test. And I don't know, chat. I don't want none of that. I fucking hate tests. Fuck it. Shoot up the fucking school. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I really don't care. Because we're all getting manipulated. And the fact that we're all talking about the Second Amendment wanting to be taken away, because why? Oh, they're doing all this school shooting. Oh, they're doing all this fucking crime. Oh my God, we gotta put the guns away. Oh no, that's what the forefathers never wanted. They wanted a fucking armed army ready to go. Because they realized when power wants to take over the Constitution, when power wants to take it all away, they will at the fucking slightest chance. So you need a fucking citizen that can stand up and like they just need to be armed and ready to go. I am for the fucking Second Amendment to the fucking T. And that's what it is. I don't know how to explain it properly. Maybe my vocab isn't good enough. Maybe I need to learn some more. Maybe I need to read some more. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what it is. All I'm saying is, chat, we need to defend ourselves till it's no tomorrow. The only reason America is so different from every other country is because all of our citizens are so armed to the T that our government cannot come and fucking conquer us because they know it will be hell to pay. Whereas over in Europe, over in fucking other countries, they already got your shit. They can't do What we can do as a fucking citizen, I have the right to arm myself. And that's what they're trying to take away from you, chat. I'm telling you, be careful how you proceed. Fight till the very end, not because it is easy, but because it is the right thing to do. It's as simple as that. This is woke mind virus. That's what it truly is. And I'm not saying the woke mind virus has to be religious. It has to be anything. I don't care. You want to be gay. You want to be straight. I don't care what you want to be. I don't care. And that's the thing. A lot of people get caught up in this. Oh, they don't want the gays. They don't want the straights. They don't want the blacks, the whites, all the. They start dividing you out. The easiest way to conquer a civilization is divide and conquer. And they started out with the race wars. Then they started out with the sexual wars. They were the ones that made it illegal for same-sex marriage. It was the government that made it illegal. Sure. Some religions are that way. I honestly don't know what to tell you. If you were born to like your same sex, I don't care. I don't care where you bury your dick. I don't care what pussy you're eating. I really don't. That's up to you. And the fact that the government is making you, oh, you can't marry the same sex, you can't eat the same pussy. I don't give a fuck, bro. That's up to you because you're a fucking living individual. You are up to your own standards. I don't care. I truly don't. And when somebody starts telling you where to bury your dick, that's where the problems begin. I truly think so. I don't give a fuck about your sexual orientation. I truly don't. And all these Christian evangelicals, all these people that are so hell-bent about holding it up to the Bible or the Quran, like I don't think that's, you're getting the right translations. I really don't think so. I think a lot of you are misled. I truly think all of you are misled. You're alienating so many people. How is this somebody else's fault? Because they like what they like. But then you start seeing propaganda pushing that, hey, if you go against that, you're going to hell. God doesn't want you to do that. And those people get discouraged. No, that's not how it should be. That's not what God's about. No, if God created you, He created you the way He created you. There's nothing wrong with who you are and how you are. Simple as that. And that's the thing. You see all these news channels, you see all these religious channels, or if you even want to call them that, chat, like, because they're not religious. God doesn't want you to promote hate. He promotes you to good intentions. God, and honestly, I say He, like, I don't know. God is way above he, she, it, all of the above. God is just different. And that's the thing. They're trying to sell you God a certain way. Because if they can breach that part of your brain, if they can get into that part of your brain that, hey, only we can tell you how God is. Because that's what the early Orthodox, the early church, the early religious, I just using the church because they dominated a lot of culture. The way they can interpret God for you, the way they can express how God felt, gave them a lot of power. Because a lot of people trusted them. A lot of people gave up a lot of mental to trust their priest, to trust their like their local imam, like whoever you want to call the local religious guy, was able to control the community. Why? Because he was speaking the word of God, right? Right? As the community, we didn't know different because a lot of people couldn't read, they couldn't write, they couldn't do the absolute basics. So the reverend, the priest, the imam, the regular person, the regular person that was able to read and write, now all of a sudden he's a religious figure. I don't care about these religious boundaries. I don't care about none of that fucking bullshit. All I care about is that you just believe. Don't be on this agnostic shit. I mean, then again, I'm on some agnostic shit too sometimes. But don't be on this like, oh, I don't believe in nothing. Because these fucking absolute Satanists, these absolute buffoons, believe in nothing but the demon himself, the good old Lucifer. And that's evil, chat. And I think truly they're getting people to bend the knee to the wrong Lord. And it starts to hurt me. Because I see good people turn the wrong way. Because why? Because they want to protect their family. They want to protect their kids. They want to do nothing but take care of the loved ones they have on this earth. And it seems that after a certain time, after a certain amount of brainwashing, that they just get converted. I don't know. I've just been kind of kicking back. I've been trying to take life into my own hands. I've been trying to just understand what is going on. There's just so much going on. A lot of fake love, you know? Friends, family, acquaintances. Everybody wants to give you the fake love. And it starts feeling real when you've not really tasted real. And that's the problem. You've been around fake so long that it starts to feel real. You've been around fake so long that you don't know how to differentiate between the real. And I truly think that's what the Matrix is. It's fucking it up so bad that you don't know what truly is real. Because it's real. I don't know. I'm not trying to dog whistle. I'm trying not to divide the fucking community. All I'm trying to say is let's see the reality for what it is. It's not really as happy and go lucky as we think it is. People are struggling. Just because you might not be struggling, people are struggling. The way the gas prices are, bro, it's like fucking $4 now. It's $3.50, $3.60 sometimes, bro. It's like fucking $4 a gallon. What the fuck are we talking about? They said, oh, whenever we take over Venezuela, we might get all the good oil. But we forget the fact that they have to process that oil. They might be able to get the oil here, but how the fuck are you going to be able to turn crude oil into gasoline? You can't. You have to get refinery. And the fact of the matter is, America has been so powerful for so long, and now people that are corrupt have finally made it to the top. You know, you ever seen an orange? Like a bag of oranges? right? You have like a whole bag and one orange goes bad. Some people try to keep the other oranges on the other half. They're like, hey, it'll be all right. But those oranges will eventually go bad. And that's what happened to us. As a civilization, that one orange was not just a little bit of mold on there. The whole thing was mold. And now it's spreading across the whole bag. Anybody that's in that sphere of political power will not be the right people to lead the way eventually. I truly think all those people will need to get expelled out of here. Because, chat, they've been around. All of it. They've been around the filth. They've got the filth all over them. They cannot change. I'm not saying do something fucking radical, but I'm saying let's be real here. Why are we doing this to ourselves? You see people struggling. I'm seeing fucking people walking in suburbs, homeless. In the suburbs, you never saw that. Maybe in the city. Where are you seeing that shit in the suburbs now? The pain is getting felt everywhere. The fucking pain is everywhere. I don't know how this can be fixed, but I do know we can't keep going the way we're going because it definitely will not be fixed this way. And chat, I can't do this alone. You can't do this alone. None of us can do this alone. We can only do this together. And that's the thing. They make you feel like you can never be together. They make you feel like if you're in that side, you can't be on this side. I think that's the issue. Once they can divide you, they can conquer you. And once they conquer you, well, say goodbye to your freedoms. There's so much going on in this world that we could have avoided. We could have avoided years ago. And I truly think it starts with the farmers. It starts with the bottom 10%, 20%. We forgot to take care of our less fortunate. We forgot to take care of our own people. Because, hey, as long as I'm doing good, as long as my family is doing good, we're doing good. But we forgot to take care of our own. We forgot to take care of the farmers. We forgot that, hey, the people that are making our food, that are growing our food, should be taking the most of the profits. They should be the front of the line. They should be getting the love that they deserve. But listen, if you squeeze them, you squeeze the whole economy. And that's what it seems like it's happening now. They're squeezing the farmers. They're really just absolutely crushing them because they are the base of what the nation stands for. The average man. And they're squeezing them. Why? Because if they're on edge, they're on absolute 10, they're on the next level of stress. They're going to start blaming the immigrants. They're going to start blaming the people that are new here because that's what happens at an average job. Imagine you get to the fucking regular job and you get there, right? You just got hired at a new job and they gave you 15 an hour, but the person that's been there 10 years, they've been only getting 12 an hour. After they begged for that raise, they were getting 10 for fucking 5 to 6 years. And then when they started begging for that raise, they started to get $1 raise, $2 raise. But all of a sudden, that newbie comes in and they get that 15 an hour without even doing a fucking lick of work. The old head gets mad. The old head is like, bro, you hired this new fuck for 15 an hour. I've been here 10 years. And you give me 12 after I begged you for that last $2? And that's what the American economy has come to. They have fucking rinsed us till it's no tomorrow. They don't want you to be part of the community because when you've been at that job for long, you will care for that job. But they don't want you to care for that job. They don't want you to care for that community. Why? Because they can separate you from that community. They will separate you from God. I think that's truly what it's all about. You destroy the community, you destroy the will. That's why you see all these buildings being average looking. You start seeing all these things looking kind of bland. You start seeing no culture in the architecture. You start seeing things come up, go down, go away. Because once you start holding that flame, that care for that community, it gives you that power. Like, I give a fuck about this place. And I feel like the new generation is like, oh, I don't care. I'm gonna move anyways. That whole you will own nothing and you will be happy mindset. No, suck my dick. I don't fucking appreciate that. I don't care for none of that. I grew up on this land and I will fucking love it till I die. And that's the thing. When they beat you down so bad, you get traumatized. You don't want to be in the area you got traumatized. They traumatize you to be in that land and you're like, hey, bro, I don't care. I'm going to go. Hey, I grew up in Dallas, but I got traumatized there, so I'm going to go to Colorado. Or I'm going to go to New York. You're going to go to all these other countries, all these other states that don't give a fuck about you either. It will get to you eventually. You see all these movies that talk about, oh, hey, we're going to run away from where they were doing the whole lockdowns, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're going to bring it over there too. Remember when California and New York locked down, everybody came to Texas and Florida. But now they're doing it federally. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care if you move states. They can run that federal shit. Now it's all over the place. Now you have no freedom wherever you go. They got you by your balls. They're gonna crush them till you have no nut left. Pause. No, Diddy. Chat, I don't know how long I have on this earth. And I don't know how long you have on this earth. But all I know is that while I'm here, I will fight for what is right. I will fight for what is right in my soul and in your soul. You should know what is right. When they take away your urgency, when they take away your freedoms, when they take away your level of love, and that's what this truly is, love. They whipped you so bad that you forget how to love. You just start hating everything. They beat you so bad that you have no love left inside you. Because you think everything is so cruel. Everything is so painful. They whipped you so bad, they whipped you into submission. That's the thing, chat. That's not how life is. That's really not how life is. People love. People care. Most will give you a hug if you need it. But the way the world is going, they don't want you to love. They don't want you to care for each other. Like, because they think, hey, if we separate them, if you feel paranoid 90% of the time, if you feel that, hey, You're under the fucking watch. You're on record. You're under the red light. They got that camera on you, 4K. You're going to be too cringe. You're going to be too tense to care. Look, I think my generation was the last generation to be able to be free. Anybody born in the 2000s, I'm a 90s baby. Anybody born in the 2000s has known nothing but that fucking surveillance state. And that's where we're under. And that's why I keep that red light on. I make sure everybody knows we're always under surveillance, chat. We all are. I'm putting this online. I'm putting this on YouTube. I'm putting this on Kick. I'm putting this on Twitch. I'm multi-streaming because if they take me down on one platform, I have all these other ones. But at the end of the day, they're all the same. They follow the same rules. TikTok was bought, and now it's under American control. I never said that it wasn't a good app because they're getting after your mindset. They're going after your goon brain. YouTube just lost this whole I don't know how to explain it. They lost this whole addiction lawsuit where it was like, hey, you guys are going for those gambling tactics where you guys, make people fall in love with this app. You really promote this app so much that these people need to fucking be obsessed about it. YouTube and Facebook both lost that. And that's what I fucking just wonder, bro. Like, how do we fix this? How do we get better? I don't know. All I know is that we need to get better. All I know is that the way we're going right now is not the right path. All I know right now is that, hey, shit ain't shitting. Things are not right. Everybody feels it. I know everybody feels it. Things feel on edge. Things feel manipulated. This whole war shit feels manipulated. Feels like we're getting into things that we shouldn't be getting into. We shouldn't be involved in something we have no business in. But what do I know? Right? I'm just an average American, I guess. I just pay my taxes and salute to the flag. And that's where I think we fall short. I think that's where the fucking problem starts. It's like, hey, you're not as fucking big deal as you thought you were. But this is manipulation to the finest level because all of us are humans. All of us are the people of this fucking country. All of us are part of this state. All of us are part of this nation. And I think that's what matters most is that we realize the power we hold as humans. You pay the taxes. You might pay $10 fucking $20. I don't give a fuck. But when you times that by 300 million people, that's a lot of money. They made you feel so weak. They made you feel so down. They made you feel so small. That you feel like you have no power. And I think that's what is part of the bigger plan, the bigger picture. Once you make them feel so small that they have no agency, they have no love for the game, they have no level of autonomy, then you take away their weapons, then you take away their fucking freedoms, period. I think the Second Amendment is going to be very, very fucking prominent in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years. It's going to be the make or break situation that we really need. Because America is the one country that has that amendment put in by our forefathers. Why? Because they foresaw what the government of England did. They became so tyrannical that you needed to have a militia. You needed to have people join forces and go on to another land. There is no other land apparently nowadays, as they claim it, right? Other than Africa, because of Africa is so large, and we've been lied about Africa. That's a tea for another day. That's a deep dive for another day, because Africa was something they lied to us about. You know, Asia is the biggest continent in the world. I feel like that's a lie. By who? Who said that? Oh, our history books? Oh, the ones that we wrote? Oh, okay, fam. You right. You right. I don't know, chat. I feel like we've been lied to for so long that you just cannot believe what the truth is. You've been lied to so much that you finally start to realize, oh shit, that's what a lie looks like. Oh, I see it now. Oh. And the thing is, none of the social media gurus, none of these fucking influencers will ever say anything, because all of them are getting pocketed by somebody. All these brands are paying them, and they can't deviate from what they got. All these brands are run by who? They're run by who? All these brands are run by fucking a couple of people here and there. And they have the same agenda to keep the status quo going. I think that's where we're stuck. The people that are supposed to step up, the people that are supposed to speak up, are stuck in a quagmire. They're stuck in a place where they cannot get out of. Why? Because they got bills to pay. And you can't blame them, can you? They got bills to pay, bruh. I don't know. I'm pretty disillusioned by this world. I'm pretty upset. I'm pretty just lost. I feel how it is. I feel that we're losing our sanity, our soul. Our love and our affection for each other. Because somebody made us feel that way. Because there was a giant plan to make us feel that way. And I could be wrong. I truly could be wrong. I could be absolutely delusional and lost in the sauce. I don't know. I do be getting saucy. You know, I do be getting saucy. But it's seeming more and more that more people are just kind of going with the flow. They want to just, hey, let me make it another day. Let me make sure that I can pay my bills. Let me make sure that I can fucking survive another day. And I get it. I get it. But there's cracks in the matrix. There's cracks in the fucking matrix, chat. And once you start to see them, there's no avoiding them. There's no avoiding them. Because it's all a facade. It's all feeling more and more like the veil is getting lifted. And it's feeling more and more like, hey, you might be getting bullshitted. You might be filling in these taxes that they don't do nothing with, but fill up their own pockets. Oh, that's a painful thing to see. Because look, how do I have no money, but you got millions of dollars in the bank? That makes no sense. This fucking fake little economy that we got going on makes no sense. It feels like a gambling fucking deal for me. But for you, it seems like house always wins. How do we have a billionaire as our president? At first, I was all with it. I said, it's the memes. Because I never voted. I never cared about that shit because I knew it was fake from the beginning. And that's how you boycott this whole system. If everyone you knew and you yourself never voted, and all of a sudden somebody gets elected, then you know the system is fake. If you never paid a dime in taxes, the whole system will break. I think that's the truest form of democracy. You put your money where your mouth is. Don't pay taxes. See how quick it breaks. But it can't be one person, two people. It has to be as a fucking nation that we do that. Because that's the only way it will work. If we all boycotted voting because we realized the voting system was fake. We realized, hey, these two parties are the same side. They're two sides to the same coin. They do nothing but serve their masters. And the only masters that we have is God and God only. I think it will change the way we fucking function. But I don't know though. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I feel like there is so much pain in the world. There's so much disdain in the world. Because people don't know what to do. They can't see the real monster behind the curtain. But when that curtain gets lifted, we really will see the real monster. We'll really see what truly is the evil behind all this. I don't know, chat. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I might be the bullshitter. Maybe I might be the fucking fake news media. That's just a little bit about me, though. How do you feel, chat? How do you feel the world is going? Do you feel like it's up to where you want it to be? Do you feel like that it is meant to be to where we're at right now? Do you feel like the world that we're in right now, that it's supposed to be like this? Do you feel like that we might be getting finessed? Do you feel like we might be under a spell? Because I truly do. I truly do. Get you a cold one, because tonight we're getting right into it, bro. Let's get right into it. There's about
the US had hit the island hard, ruining its military infrastructure, but at least the oil terminals and pipelines were spared. Cash could keep rolling in to prop up the ailing Iranian regime, but not for much longer. The US is sending something massive to Karg Island. The US may be preparing for the largest ground operation against Iran in decades, and it could leave Iran's regime in tatters. We'll explain why later in the video. First, what on earth is happening at Karg Island? Right now, the island is still trying to recover from a wave of US attacks that totally obliterated every military target on the island, per US President Donald Trump. Not a lot has changed on the island since, as its oil operations are still running. But it's not what's happening now that is worrying Iran's regime. It's what's going to happen in the future, as the US is sending something Iran's way that is the last thing the regime wanted to see: US Marines. Or more accurately, even more. According to the war's...
Well, see, the issue is they're sending, I think, 5,000 or 10,000 people over there. I don't know if that's going to be enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like 5,000 or 10,000 troops in a fucking mountainous region. Ooh, that might be a little slaughter. I don't know.
Or TWZ, the US is sending the USS Boxer and the rest of its Amphibious Ready Group, or ARG, to the Middle East from their base on the west coast. Coming along for the ride is the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU, which reportedly has around 2,500 Marines that could be ready to put boots on the ground in Iran, if they get the order. Along with Iran thought that its troubles on Karg Island were over.
Oh,
the
my
US
bad.
had hit the island hard.
Hold on a second. I didn't mean to hit zero.
More amphibious assault ships and a contingent of roughly 2,000 Marines with it. Those Marines seem likely to arrive in Iran's waters at some point toward the end of March, and it's looking like the 11th MEU is expected to follow, potentially reinforcing the 31st MEU in the coming weeks to create a contingent of over 4,000 US Marines, along with the air power and amphibious vessels needed to land them on Karg Island. At least that's one of the options. As you'll discover if you keep watching, there are 3 scenarios that these MEU deployments could support, each with different potential consequences. TWZ notes that what we're seeing right now is an accelerated deployment of manpower that is being sent to Iran in support of Operation Epic Fury. Karg Island seems to be the likely target for these Marines, and there are other hints that the US is building up to do something on an island that is absolutely critical to Iran's economy. Along with the incoming MEUs, the US has also been deploying the US Navy MQ-4C Triton unmanned aerial vehicle, or UAV. This isn't an attack drone. Rather, this UAV is designed to conduct reconnaissance, and that's precisely what it's been doing in the Persian Gulf and Karg Island regions. On March 20th...
If it were so powerful, I definitely think America's military is the best military in the world. I'm not saying that otherwise at all. But if they were winning, do you think they would be doing all this extra shit? If they were winning, do you think they were doing all this extra shit?
One of America's Tritons was even observed orbiting the largest oil terminal on Karg Island, suggesting that it's keeping a close eye on whatever Iran is trying to do on the small stretch of land. And there's more. The US has also announced that it's deploying Apache helicopters and A-10 Warthogs to the Strait of Hormuz. Both of these aircraft can serve a purpose in the strait, especially in terms of attacking fast boats, Shahid drones, and coastal missile launch sites and ports. However, we can't ignore the fact that both of these aircraft were also used by the US in its wars against Iraq and Afghanistan. What did they do in these wars? The Apache and A-10 set the stage for ground operations in these nations by providing support to ground troops, shaping the battlefield, and taking out fortified positions ahead of arrival. So these aircraft were among the first that the US deployed in these 2 conflicts. And do you want to guess what the first types of ground troops were that the US sent into Afghanistan? US Marines from MEUs. We're starting to get some serious echoes of the past in this deployment of a second MEU to Iran's waters, and all signs are pointing to an operation that is set to take place on Karg Island. For now, there's no confirmation that Washington has made a final decision, but the pieces being put in place are hard to ignore. Whether that means boots on the ground or not isn't certain, but before we get into what the US is planning to do, let's examine why Karg Island matters. After all, it's just an island, and one that the US has already destroyed, at least in terms of its military infrastructure. However, it's not this particular type of infrastructure that makes Karg Island so important. It's another: oil infrastructure. A lot of it. Though it only measures about 5 miles end to end, Karg Island is where almost all of Iran's oil exports are processed and passed through on their way out of the country and to Iran's clients. Oil, in particular, is
The only thing is, Karg Island is within the ballistic missile ranges, so they might get their ship blown back. Their hairline might be back here.
Iran's economic lifeblood. The country is home to about 10% of the world's proven oil reserves. It's on Karg Island that the terminals and pipelines are located that pump Iranian crude and refined oil products onto tankers, which then ship the oil to other countries. According to CBS News, Karg Island historically handles anywhere between 85 and 95% of all Iran's crude oil exports.
But the whole issue is that if somebody lands over there, it is absolute slaughter time. It is going to be D-Day to the max. It would be D-Day on steroids, bruh.
And that is a major problem for Iran. Crude oil prices recently surged during the crisis, before pulling back slightly due to Operation Epic Fury. Due to the situation that Iran has created in the Strait of Hormuz, Kharg Island is key to the Iran regime and its ability to keep the cash flowing into the country. The most recent figures we have for Iran's crude oil revenue come from 2024, which is the year that the Tehran Times claimed that...
Bro, they ended up fucking making it unsanctioned oil from Iran because it got whooped so bad. They made it unsanctioned. Oh, hey!
Oil revenue topped $46 billion for the country. If up to 95% of those sales are made by way of Kharg Island, losing this small strip of land would blow a $43.7 billion hole in Iran's economy at a time when it literally can't afford to let that money go. Therein lies a clear motivation for the US to seize Kharg Island, thus putting a ton of pressure on Iran's regime to capitulate to Operation Epic Fury. But it goes even deeper than that. As another MEU sails toward Iran, the US may also be looking to Kharg Island as a bargaining chip that it can use to pressure Iran into releasing its stranglehold over the Strait of Hormuz. The one thing that Iran can rely upon to perhaps place enough pressure on the US to end Operation Epic Fury is its ability to halt shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Billions of dollars of cargo pass through the strait annually, including about 20% of the world's oil, along with 20% of all
crazy amount, bro. 20%. Ooh!
Liquefied natural gas. By preventing ships from passing through the strait, which Iran has mostly done by attacking merchant ships with drones and fast boats, Iran is able to create global price shocks that shake up the world's economies. Do you remember how we mentioned that oil is over $100 a barrel right now? That isn't normal. It's happening because shipments through the strait have been severely disrupted, as tanker captains rightfully don't want to take the risk of their ships being the next Iran targets. So the maths here is simple. US Marines plus a Kharg Island takeover equals a major card that the US can play to force Iran to ease up the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran is going to bring the world's oil and gas supplies to a standstill, the US can respond by snatching away billions of dollars from the Iranian economy. On top of all of that, there's the message that more action on Kharg Island would send, especially if that action involves putting boots on the ground. According to former US Central Command or CENTCOM commander Joseph Votel, that message would be twofold and directed at both Iran and the many nations that rely on the Strait of Hormuz. I get that it has an informational and kind of messaging advantage against the Iranians that we are on their territory, and it may send a message to the broader energy community that we are safeguarding these vital Iranian infrastructures, Votel told TWZ in a March 20th interview. Boots on the ground would indeed tell Iran that the US is serious, as well as communicate to other nations that America is doing
I think they don't give a fuck.
what it can to solve the Strait of Hormuz problem. The 11th MEU heading to the Middle East to join the 31st MEU reinforces that message. However, taking that approach with Kharg Island does present some challenges, as we'll get to in a moment. But before we do, there's a lot more where this came from. If you're getting value from the military show, remember two approaches that the US could take now that it's sending another MEU towards Kharg Island. Boots on the ground is the most obvious, and we'll be getting to that approach in a few minutes. But less obvious, and perhaps much less risky, is the idea that the US could be planning to use its MEUs to form a small naval blockade around Kharg Island that will stop Iran from exporting its oil. This would be a case of the US giving Iran a small taste of its own medicine by stopping merchant ships from doing what they came to do, albeit without the added terroristic element of attacking these ships. But as TWZ notes, it's certainly an option. Remember that it's not just MEUs that the US is sending to the Middle East right now, it's also sending a pair of ARGs, which amount to about half a dozen amphibious warships that the US could use to prevent merchant ships from getting access to the Kharg Island terminal. The US also has several carrier strike groups in the Persian Gulf region. However, deploying warships from those groups may not be an option, as doing so would leave their associated carriers more vulnerable to Iranian counterattacks. The idea behind a blockade would be to neutralize Kharg Island as a factor for Iran in Operation Epic Fury without taking the risk, militarily or politically, of placing boots on the ground. The US could claim to be avoiding an escalation of Operation Epic Fury while still hitting Iran where it hurts. And there is a certain sense of justice in the idea of trading one blockade for another. However, the obvious challenge with this solution would be that the US would have to make its incoming ARGs close to sitting ducks for Iranian drones and missiles. After all, a blockade that doesn't involve zipping in, attacking merchant ships, and getting out, as Iran is doing in the Strait,
Bro, I don't think they're gonna give that straight up, bro. It just seems a little bit too easy to run the fucking world when they own that straight. So they're gonna hold that bitch like a fucking slut. Like, I don't know. That's just me, though.
Requires warships to actually block any vessels attempting to make it to Karga. Iran's coastal missile launch sites would get opportunities to strike. But then perhaps that's why A-10s and Apache choppers are being deployed in the Persian Gulf region. The former, at the very least, is a well-suited choice for taking out these coastal launch sites before they become problems for the US. Still, this challenge of dealing with the Iranian response to what the US does next on Karg Island exists for the second and seemingly most obvious option that the US has for the strip of land, putting boots on the ground. The numbers certainly line up for a ground assault on Karg Island, and there are some in the US who support this option. Senator Lindsey Graham is one of those people, as The Hill has reported on Graham invoking the spirit of Iwo Jima as he called for the US to take Karg Island by force. Here's what I tell President Trump: keep it up for a few more weeks, take Karg Island where all of the resources they have to produce oil, control that.
Bro, I feel like they're getting money out of this, bro. All of these motherfuckers got some kind of stocks. They got some kind of fucking bag in the fucking safe.
Island, let this regime die on a vine, Graham declared when speaking to Fox News on Sunday. We still don't know how close the US is to making this particular decision, though it appears that plans are being put in place. Beyond MEUs heading to the Middle East, along with everything else that we've mentioned that could support a ground operation, CBS News reported on March 20th that Pentagon officials have already drawn up detailed plans for deploying US ground forces into Iran. Even Trump himself is using misdirection to prevent people from figuring out what he has planned. "No, I'm not putting troops anywhere," he said to reporters in the Oval Office on March 20th.
The other day. Too much fucking snacks. He said the other day that he's trying to fucking deploy troops within the next week or so. Yo!
19th, before quickly adding, "If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you." So a ground operation might be coming, or it might not. If it does, the number of US Marines that the US is sending in the direction of Karg Island should be more than enough to take the small strip of land. Votel suggests that the US would probably need between 800 and 1,000 of its Marines to push whatever's left of Iran's forces off Karg Island. The Sunday Times disputes that figure, suggesting that even the 2,200 Marines or so that are with the 31st MEU may not be enough to take Karg Island, with the number needed likely to depend on how many Iranian soldiers were killed during America's initial strike against the territory.
Bro, if they got missiles that they can hit where these motherfuckers are landing, I feel like it's gonna be a slaughter. Like, I don't know, though. I don't know.
A large deployment may be needed to hold the island and secure a perimeter around it. Perhaps that's why a second MEU is on its way to the Middle East right now. It's better to have too many Marines and not need them than to have too few and wind up losing those that you need. But what the US has in its incoming MEUs are operators who are trained for precisely this kind of operation, and they're being supported by appropriate intelligence, along with air power that has already set the stage for a ground operation and continues to work in the Strait of Hormuz to make such an operation as safe as possible. Add the artillery, armored vehicles, choppers, and the F-35B vertical takeoff fighter jets that are arriving alongside the MEUs heading toward Iran, and you get a force that should offer more than enough to tackle Iran's fractured troops on Karg Island. Taking Karg Island likely won't be much of a problem, especially if the US launches more airstrikes before the arrival of its MEUs. Keeping it, however, brings up the same issues that could affect America's ships if it attempts a naval blockade. Those US Marines and equipment stationed on Karg Island would become stationary targets for Iran, and despite the country's missile capabilities having been significantly diminished, Iran has shown that it can still hit stationary targets with its ballistic missile. Karg Island is only about 20 miles away from the Iranian coast. It would certainly be in range of coastal missile launches, and the US would have to...
Exactly, coastal missile. They might get their cheeks clapped and obliterated, I'm telling you. They're not making it home, I'm telling you, bro.
Deal with the fact that its nearest base is over 120 miles away. Any resupply vessels the US sends to the island may also have to deal with Iranian drones and fast boats. The US has the air power to deal with those latter threats. The A-10s and Apaches in the Strait of Hormuz ensure that, as they can both serve as escorts to American supply ships. As for missile launchers, the US can hit missile sites that it knows exist, but it can't do much about those that are still hidden until Iran exposes them. The flip side to all of this is that by hitting US Marines on Karg Island, Iran also risks damaging its own oil pipelines. Would it want to take that risk? Would the risk seem worth it, even if the pipelines are damaged?
I think they don't give a fuck. At this point, it is about nothing but winning. and destroying everything about America. I think it's just genuinely they're like losing it. Like now you whip them so bad, they've been like, why do you think they say don't corner an animal? Don't corner any animal because it will fight to the death. Simple as that.
If US occupation strips away Iran's oil money anyway? These are the questions that will only be answered if the US goes through with putting boots on the ground, as it seems like it might be planning to do, as two MEUs steam toward Iran. But there is a third option, one that the MEUs could support or might not even need to get involved in. The US could just bomb Iran's cargo oil infrastructure into oblivion and avoid all of the problems that could come with a blockade or occupation. There would certainly be no problems with sitting ducks becoming targets for Iran's missiles. And according to CNBC, by destroying Kharg Island's oil terminal and pipelines, Iran loses out on the 1.5 million barrels per day in crude exports that keep the money flowing into the country. It would take years for Iran to rebuild that infrastructure, and that's assuming it even could after losing so many billions to an American strike. So problem solved, no MEUs required. Well, not really. The Kharg Island infrastructure requiring years to rebuild would mean that the nations that rely on Iranian oil end up with major problems. China is a prominent buyer, as it purchases about 80% of Iran's shipped oil. Tensions are already high between the US and China, and the US doesn't need to make things worse by taking out.
But see, that's the thing. I think China and America will eventually box it out. They will duel it out. But right now, I don't think they need to, because a big part of, the art of war, as they call it, is when you watch your enemy make a mistake, you don't correct it. You just let them make a mistake and you see how it goes. You let them make the mistake. And Russia and China are tight right now because they're waiting for America to just fall. The Greater Israel Project right now, I feel like, is genuinely focused on making America not as strong of an ally in the Middle East. And they're gonna fucking wait for America to just go downhill in the Middle East, because Iran wants nothing but America to leave the Middle East. They want all their shit out of here. Remember, Iran was talking about the fact that, hey, we're having no talks. America or Trump posted the fact that, hey, I'm over here talking it out, trying to fix this. But Iran was like, bro, we never had no talks. This motherfucker lying. And they're like, oh, shit. Oh, it's getting real in this bitch. Oh, shit.
Kharg Island. All of this is without even mentioning the likelihood that Iran would ramp up its attacks on the energy infrastructure of its Gulf neighbors if the US chose destruction. And we also can't discount the possibility that the US might want to hold Kharg Island so it can push Iran into some sort of agreement where America benefits from the country's oil exports. That could be a tempting carrot to hold out in front of Iran's regime, but it gets swallowed up if the bombs start flying and the Kharg oil infrastructure goes up in smoke. So it's likely that the US is only seriously considering two options, blockade or ground operation. Both would be aided massively by the arrival of the two MEUs en route toward Iran as we speak. In fact, they may not be possible without those MEUs, at least with what the US has deployed in Iran right now. The only question now is whether the 11th and 31st MEUs are actually going to be used. Again, Trump is sending mixed messages. On March 20th, he declared that there will be no ceasefire with Iran, stating that you don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't have taken the sanctions off if they weren't able to, like if they weren't able to win, if they...
Trump was implying that he's looking to wind down Operation Epic Fury. Putting boots on the ground in Kharg Island would be the opposite of winding down. And on March 23rd, reports said that Trump claims the US and Iran have held talks on the complete and total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East, which has led to Trump saying he'll hold back on a threat to strike Iran's power stations for 5 days based on these talks. Iran says that these talks never happened.
Exactly. Got him! Got him!
Says that the news of these talks is fake and it's being used to manipulate oil prices. Frankly, it's impossible to guess what the Trump administration's next move is going to be.
I think they're trying to keep the stock market up, because if the stock market starts going down, then Pam Bondi can't talk about, oh, the Dow's at 50K, the Dow's at 50K. You know, so I feel like genuinely right now they're gaslighting us. I feel like the easiest way to do this right now is they just lie to your face and you are too dumb to see. You know, that's what they're feeling like right now. I don't know. It just feels more and more like they're lying straight to your face.
The thing we can say for sure is that around 2,500 more US Marines are heading towards Iran, and they likely have Karg Island in their sights. If the US pulls the trigger, be that on blockading, destruction or occupation, Iran is staring down the barrel of a multi-billion-dollar black hole in its budget that could end the regime once and for all.
I don't know,
The US
bro.
may be prepping
I
to
feel
take
like
out the
they've
last
been
thing
getting ready for 40 years for this shit. I don't think they're just gonna run out. Like, bro, they've been sanctioned for so long. They've been living like, bro, it's like everybody cuts off their credit cards and now they're like, bro, how are you gonna survive? I'm like, bro, you've been living off the credit cards for long enough. Like somebody just cut all your credit cards off. Listen, they're able to survive. I think they've been surviving for a little bit.
keeping Iran alive. But Karg Island has already been hit once, as we've discussed in this video, and that strike is taking on a whole new complexion as a second MEU heads towards Iran. Check out our video to learn more about what the US did to Karg Island earlier.
Hey, W video. I definitely feel like, bro, this whole invasion is coming to pass. I definitely think this whole thing is genuinely gonna happen. I don't doubt it. I truly don't doubt it because of the fact that, bro, like, America's not doing too hot in this whole war. But it's your and my tax dollars that truly set the course of this world. And chat, I don't think I want to spend any more tax dollar on this bullshit. I ain't got no money for this bullshit. They talking about 200 extra billion dollars on this bullshit. Like, what? 200 extra billies? Hey, yo, 200 extra billies? We can't even fucking afford groceries right now. What do you mean, bruh? What do you mean you need 200 extra billies for this war? I feel like we getting milks right now. We getting milk, no diddy. I think, chat, that is the biggest shafting of this century. The biggest shafting. Fuck Watergate. Fuck all these other bullshits that's going on. This is the biggest Watergate. And that's the thing. It made you forget about the Epstein files real fucking quick. Right? Am I right? Or am I fucking right? They made you forget about the Epstein files like they never existed. They wanted to make sure none of that shit mattered in this big, long run they about to have. I truly feel like Trump might go for this third presidency. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it's seeming more and more that this motherfucker is genuinely doing this for his third presidency. He's not doing none of this for nothing else but to keep running it up in this third presidency. And I think, bro, good for him, right? Good for him. Because the propaganda is through the roof. Everybody is getting gaslighted through the roof, chat. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Hey, all I gotta do is like, hey, I'ma give props where it's due. America running up the bag. I can't even lie. I cannot even lie. America is running up the bag. And that's what this country is all about. Because I don't truly care. I don't give a fuck, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm just small fish in the pond. It does nothing to me. I'm gonna be a loser today, and I'm gonna be a loser tomorrow. Because in this fucking economy, nobody wins. All of you are fucking losers with me. If you think you better than me, suck this dick. They don't think the same. They don't give a fuck about you. You making $1 million? Aw, $1 million? Aw, it doesn't matter. You're just as much of a homeless man as you are a fucking millionaire. They don't give a fuck. A lot of people talking about, hey, bro, I make $1 million a year. Bro, suck this dick. To these fucking politicians, you're nothing but a fucking cog in the machine. You have to pay the taxes just like the crackhead on the street when he goes and buys his 7-Eleven, you little pussy. You gonna flick that little bean? You gonna flick that little bean? They don't give a fuck. You're gonna have to fucking cough up that dollar. You might have to come for that tax man. You might have to jerk him off. Get that 2-hand extradition. They don't give a fuck. And chat, that's the thing. That's what propaganda does to you. Everything has to do with the taxes. I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't give a single fuck about you. Nothing matters. You might make $1 million until you make a billy. Until you make a billy, they don't give a fuck. Because you're a cute little $1 million do nothing because they print that shit every day. Your dollar has no value since the fucking 90s. They've been fucking getting that shit printing. Dollar has lost about 70% of its value since the fucking COVID vaccine came out. Jab me up! They might relieve the whole thing by maybe revaluing how gold is. Because currently gold is valued in their reserves as I think $40 to $45 an hour. I think they average it out to $42 an ounce. I don't know why I said hour. But they average out each ounce to $42 an ounce. America's reserves of gold are roughly about $2 trillion worth of gold, which can relieve a lot of stress. I'm not going to lie to you. It will relieve a lot of stress. But America has $38 trillion of debt. $38 trillion of debt. And I truly feel like that is a little bit much. Imagine you're $32,000 or $38,000 in debt, but you only got $2,000. Oopsie daisy, you might be fucked up. You might not be able to make it to work on Monday. But that's just me, though. A little bit about myself. Chat, I genuinely think people don't understand how bad this is. They don't understand how rough this is. They don't understand what the problems are genuinely arising from this. And a lot of this shit has to do with propaganda. So let's get into the real deal. The burnt peanut problem.
Money, you don't make your family laugh at the dinner table. I know you don't. What do you tell them? Yeah, I'm just a f***ing peanut. I have a...
You literally...
What?
Said the N word multiple times. I don't know why saying a word means anything, but okay. I did not choose this peanut life. I got turned into one by the burnt peanut.
Hey everybody, CP here, the cool potato. Just wanted to show off the new streamer persona.
So streaming has become quite popular, especially since 2020, where it saw a huge spike in attention, probably due to things like COVID, where we were all forced inside, and for many in education at the time, you had to put up with makeshift and quickly put together online classes that I'm pretty sure nobody learned a single thing in.
I'm not a child, Heidi. I'm a grown man.
Yo, Randy, you bold as
We've been hacked.
But for many people around that time, especially when the lockdowns had just started, you had to find things to do, which for some turned into learning skills like coding, cooking, painting, and maybe learning how to properly exercise. Or for some it meant playing the same games over and over till you eventually become fatigued with games in general, and even though you had all this free time now, you just couldn't bring yourself to play a game for even 15 minutes before getting bored, closing the game, and staring blankly at the screen. But watching someone else play the exact same game was a different thing entirely. Streaming around this time was already rising in popularity due to key streamers like Ninja.
Had shockwaves after he railed me like that from behind. After he shot on my back. After he came from behind.
But now with everyone
yo!
inside, streaming exploded. We had things like the Among Us craze, a rise in Minecraft viewership due to things like the Dream SMP, where we saw a different breed of parasocial viewer. We even saw the appearance of more things like VTubers. But one of the results of COVID, apart from it apparently messing with the fabric of time, where it feels like time is going way too fast now.
7 years ago is crazy work. Hey, yo.
But another effect was that streaming got more popular. More people tried doing it and more people got into it. It became mainstream, and even after COVID ended, it only became more popular, which has led to the streamers themselves being looked at more like celebrities. I mean, even celebrities themselves have tried to, in one way or another, enter the streaming space.
We could be taking questions right now. TikTok, you got any questions for me? What am I saying? I'm saying, please come to Peru. You ate.
Why the fuck did he do? What? When did? What? What?
Appreciate that. Love you, Brunito. When you come into my house, all right, maybe this questions thing wasn't a good idea.
But with streaming blowing up, it has come with a number of negative aspects as well. Hate watching is one of them, where people watch you for the sole purpose of preying on your downfall.
Who wants some? You want this? Come get it! Get a job, Dale.
What?
Why do you guys keep doing this?
Audience fatigue is a new one, especially if you blow up quite fast and your content is everywhere. People will get tired of seeing you and start to hate you. The only person I've seen that is completely immune to this is Queso. I've not seen an ounce of hate for him except his chat saying he's the descendant of a prehistoric megalodon, which is one of the many ways they call him fat. There's also a problem with clones, where especially if you get popular for a specific thing or niche, some may attempt to copy you or what you're known for to reap the same.
Weirdly enough, I have seen Mr.Muncher clones. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Bro, I've seen some YouTube shit where in the last like 2-3 months, I've seen some channels open up. Bro, I'm not even that. I'm not trying to boost my ego. I'm really not, chat. But listen, Mr. Muncher is a very great name. I've had this name since fucking, I don't know, 2019, 2016. Since I graduated high school, bro. I've been on CSGO with this name. So,
benefits, and all of which I just briefly described probably applies tenfold to the streamer I'm going to be speaking about today. A streamer that at their peak took over the internet to the point where people of all ages were watching him. A streamer that with each stream would get over 100,000 concurrent viewers. And a streamer that is quite literally a burnt carbohydrate. The burnt peanut.
There's a new one though. For some reason, a bunch of Dr. Disrespect Champion Club members have been coming in. They like think since I'm big now, I'm encroaching on his territory or something. It's like I'm on Arc Raiders, not the playground.
Now, if you don't know who the burnt peanut is, he started streaming all the way back in 2022. And when he started, he wasn't a peanut. He was an actual person, a fleshy if you will. But it's important to note that almost all records of these past streams when he wasn't the peanut has been scrubbed from the internet to the point where you can only find singular frames of those streams. But back then he mainly streamed Escape from Tarkov, the game you only play if you have a gambling addiction, or you're a masochist and hate yourself.
I can do it. What is it? Ready? I'm gonna fight for this up, ready? For the team, boys. Okay. My gunshot!
Or, more commonly, you're a hacker.
Oh shit.
When he began streaming, he was still working a full-time job at a call center for scheduling, with the main thing being scheduled, according to him, being cat waxing. But it was the cat usually most of you definitely aren't used to seeing, if you catch my drift. But when he started, he would stream regularly for around 5 months before giving it up, and he would only return a year later after a friend persuaded him to start streaming again. And after one of his first streams back, he noticed his name was Burnt Peanut. So for his next stream, he became a peanut, and the rest from there is seemingly history. He still played Tarkov, but now as a peanut, and he began streaming more regularly with usually a daily stream that ranged from 2 to 6 hours depending on the day. He also began taking his clips from his stream and posting them to places like YouTube, which assisted in slowly building up his following.
I'm about to show you the power of the Windingulator, the most powerful weapon in all of Tarkov, but do not share it with anyone.
Adamantium.
Oh my god.
I got him.
By the end of 2024, he was averaging over 1,000 concurrent viewers, and it would only go up from there at the start of the next year. However, he was still streaming Tarkov, which people didn't really mind. Most were there for his personality at that point.
Fucking camping little bitch pussy.
Got your little boyfriend.
Yeah, he's a fucking Timmy, you little
And
pussy.
you're next! Yeah!
And things like his peanut avatar constantly changing, the animations he played before he went into each raid, animations which were made by his brother, and the fact there was never truly a dull moment in his streams was why a lot of people kept watching him.
Love you, nut. Peanut's middle is the perfect place for my froggy penis. I want to wear them like a condom and feel that sweet, sweet ass pucker.
And all of this would later be a hallmark of his content. By August of 2025, he was averaging over 10,000 viewers, which put him at the top percentile of streamers, but his viewership would soon skyrocket in November of the same year, which was partially due to the launch of a game called Ark Raiders, a game that was initially thought to be just another extraction shooter trying to copy Tarkov, and a game that 3 years ago was supposed to be a completely different game. But despite what people thought before it launched, it was somewhat of an instant success when it finally released, both with a lot of people playing it and watching it. Peanut began streaming it on release, and quickly he not only became the face of the game, but the face of streaming for quite a while.
Wait, they're saying running dive through.
Oh fuck.
At this point, you could not escape Peanut. He had broken outside the Ark Raiders category and become mainstream. Every platform either had a clip of his stream or a clip of someone talking about his stream. But with that many eyes on you, it almost becomes impossible to avoid controversy, either by people clipping you out of context, or even some people going all the way back before you blew up and sharing a clip of you saying a slur.
I would get QD OLED. Oh my god, dude, what is it? What is up with this fat man?
See, bro, I got so many clips out there. Well, here we go.
Oh fuck. God damn it.
He even got into a controversy for being nominated and winning the VTuber of the Year award, which pissed a lot of people off because they don't think he's a VTuber. I mean, he even thinks he's not a VTuber, he classifies himself as a PTuber, and after facing all of this backlash, he immediately started making jokes at the expense of the people that were mad at him.
That's a VTuber right there. Listen up, 40-year-old man in a 15-year-old anime 2D VTubing suit.
But if we were honest, it was the Streamer Awards, the event that most criticised for their theory it's just an award show for the friends of the people that host it, and the event where there's backlash each year for the nominations and award winners anyway. Like, it happens every year. But apart from people digging things up from his past, apart from his classifications as a VTuber or a PTuber, and apart from his controversies, there's already a few problems that have surrounded him, and it's only gotten worse as he's gotten bigger. And it's to the point now where it's widespread and more apparent than ever. And you could say it's at the level now where it's directly affecting the reputation of Peanut. But what are these problems?
Ooh, let's fart on him. Well, sniff it.
Pause!
So as I said, when creators blow up, especially for a specific reason, it's natural to see others witness this attention and attempt to recreate it to potentially get a portion of the limelight. This can range from playing the same game to doing the same content to, at worst, attempting to replicate the personality of the original content creator.
You really think I'm queso? You really think I'm queso?
And Peanut is no different from this trend. Actually, in his case, it's much worse. Probably because he's formatted in the way he is. He's simply a peanut with a filter that captures his mouth and eyes, projected onto the 3D Peanut model. Before Peanut blew up, there was little to nobody with the same format. Ironically, the closest relative to his format he had at the time was actually VTubers. And I know by simply
I've seen him on TikTok clips until I deleted TikTok. And then, yeah, I have seen him here and there.
Making that comparison may result in some fans having an aneurysm, but when he did eventually blow up, it essentially became a gold rush overnight. Hundreds of other streamers would adopt an inanimate object with their face displayed on top of it, which ranged from things like other edible items, to items of clothing, to random objects, to even organs. I have a feeling we are soon going to see a Peanut clone in the form of a puckered anus that was locally sourced. That would actually be impressive, probably because you'll be instantaneously banned, but then again, if you're streaming on Twitch, knowing them, you might be fine. There was also a rise in tutorials walking you through how to make your own burnt peanut avatar, which only made it more widespread. Now, these streamers obviously knew what they were doing.
I'm not trying to copy burnt peanut. I say I'm different from the peanuts. I say
A lot of these new streamers would begin being called peanut clones, and I've yet to see one that has successfully pulled this off and managed to gather an audience that doesn't associate them with peanut. But are we seeing a trend like VTubers where one person inspires many others to the point where it becomes its own genre? No. As said, I don't see any of these new streamers doing anything unique, and none have accomplished the goal of branching away from the peanut stereotype. I mean, we had the annoying orange do this shit like 10 years ago, and I don't think there were any successful copies around that time, but hey, I could be wrong. Maybe a disheveled filled condom will be streamer of the year around this time next.
Bet! I'm doing that!
Year. Even Peanut has picked up on people doing this, and he doesn't really seem to have
I'm gonna be a nuclear silo.
Problem with it.
I mean, are they? I don't know. I mean, are they kind of hopping on the floor a little bit? Sure, but you know what I mean. It's like whatever. It's like whatever. I mean, I didn't invent the peanut. I didn't. You know what I mean? They can do whatever they want. They can, you know what I mean? But follow your dreams, that's what I say. That's what I say.
However, even though there are a lot of these clones, currently there is one that stands...
Bro, there's a lot of people posting a lot of propaganda using these type of filters.
Above the rest. The ultimate peanut clone, and that is the faithful sheriff.
Ooh, let's fart on him. Well, sniff it.
That's some zesty shit, bro.
That's it, bro.
That's a grown-ass man right there. That's a grown-ass man doing that.
He is the very definition of a peanut clone. He is what appears to be the inbred variant of the burnt peanut. He even has lore that relates to the burnt peanut. Where the story goes, he was turned into a peanut because he disrespected Peanut's friend, Gingy, which outside of the peanut he did actually do. He made a whole video saying she was boring, and apparently they saw that video and responded to it. But in the lore, after seeing Gingy disrespected, the burnt peanut would respond by using his peanut wizard powers to turn this guy into a peanut. That is his lore.
You know what you mean?
Yeah, he turned me into a peanut, actually. That's why I'm a peanut. He turned me into one. He's my arch nemesis.
But this isn't the first time the faithful sheriff has done something like this, because he was previously known before his rebrand as Dr. Witnesser, or as most people called him, Dr. Chud. And if it wasn't obvious, this was his attempt in trying to be a clone of Dr. Disrespect.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I hate motherfuckers like this that do straight copies of things, bro. Just make a merger, you know, just merge a bunch of characters together is better than just straight up copying. Like,
Dr. Witnesser, thank you for the $10, Doc. I'm 20 minutes deep in some spice, hot, acidic, goosebump-driven diarrhea, and I ran out of toilet paper. I'm install 102 in the arena. Can you send Alex in to toss me a roll? Alex is not here today. You're in.
Bro, that's the thing. It be your biggest fans. That's the craziest fucking issue. It'd be your biggest fans. It'd be your biggest fucking supporters that turn into absolute haters that end up copying you years down the line. I don't know, bro. It's kind of a phenomenon.
Shit out of luck.
Bro, That was so worth it.
He was quite infamously known around this time for one, constantly saying slurs.
So, back in the day of the 1910 and 1800s, people would refer to black individuals as niggers.
He was also known as the guy who told an 8-year-old child that Santa wasn't real.
People were saying that Santa Claus isn't real, that your parents just bring you the presents.
Yeah, that's actually true, unfortunately. And that's another lie, and that people do spread. I don't teach my kids about Santa Claus because it's not real, and I don't lie to my kids.
He was also known to be heavily religious, and if you had a mic on in his Fortnite lobby, he would try and convert you to some form of Christianity, even if you have a different religion or you're a child.
This fucking asshole, bro. He has no happiness in his soul, bro. He just like being a degenerate loser, bro. I hate motherfuckers like him, bro. Like, that just made me hate him, bro. Like, bro, let that kid be fucking in love with Santa, bro. Like, why did you destroy that? Like, that's just fucked up, bro. I can't even lie to you, bro. Chat, that shit low-key hurt my soul right there, bro. Like, bro, let the kid figure it out on his own. Don't tell him Santa isn't real. Let him figure it out with his friends, bro. I don't know. It's just fucked up.
He will still try and convert you.
Xbox.
Nice.
I'm playing on PS4 right now, but I'm finna play on Xbox.
Cool.
Yes.
So, listen, I go into games and I teach people about the Bible.
Yeah.
About the afterlife.
Bro, that's what I hate about some religious fanatics, bro. They love pushing religion on people when they're like vulnerable, bro. Like, let them figure it out on their own, bro. I don't want to push no religion on you when you're vulnerable, bro. Figure it out on your own. I don't want to convince you of nothing. I don't want to do nothing. Like, I don't know, bro. It just seems really shady when they see somebody vulnerable and they try to take advantage of them, bro. When you try to like push that on them when they're like down bad, let them figure it out on their own. If your religion is so strong and it's so fucking like good, they will come to it when they have the emotions and they have the will to come to it, not when you fucking convince them.
You know how much that Xbox cost?
What?
You know how much that Xbox cost?
I think he was most known for trying to convert a child and telling them if they don't convert, they will go to hell when they die or something. But obviously, with his reputation in the toilet as Dr. Witnesser, he would move on to greener pastures, which was doing the exact same thing he was doing before, but now as a peanut.
So, do you believe in Jesus? Or did college teach you out of Jesus? 'Cause that's what they do.
And for some reason, he has a bit where he loves being a bit gassy, and he will regularly unload on stream.
Good morning, everybody. It's the faithful sheriff, and today we're going into Fortnite and telling everybody about the good Lord. Everyone's welcome.
What?
If you're nice and all that.
Do not tell Pyrocynical about this streamer. Now, obviously, he could not outrun his past, and with him doing the same thing he did with Dr. Disrespect, now with the burnt peanut, he quickly became one of the most hated peanut clones, because at least all the other clones did their own thing. They never tried to be a carbon copy, and they never begged for attention from Peanut.
Here's the deal. If you get the burnt peanut to respond to this video by saying, I released you of your peanut bombs, you get your witnesser back.
But because people hated him so much, it has led to a number of things happening. First, someone sent him a fake cease and desist letter, which was said to be from Peanut, which made him promptly end stream because he thought he was going to get sued by Peanut. The second thing was that people started circulating fake rumors about him. Someone photoshopped a cock on his peanut, which was something that happened to the original Peanut, and they made it look like he was requesting this just so he could be like Peanut, and he denies it.
I never said this. I never even knew that these guys existed prior to yesterday when this post came out. Here's a picture of my real penis that you can use. Obviously, this is not me. Y'all have seen me. This person probably weighs about 170. I'm 300 pounds.
People also raided his Discord day one and circulated some rumors there. And third, they have doxed him while...
Bro, that's the one thing about being a social media creator or any kind of public figure, bro. They'll do all kinds of bullshit to destroy your image, bro.
He was live multiple times, in one event reading out his full social security number, and in another a person in a game with him calls him out for not living in Texas and LARPing that he does, and then they proceed to read out his current address, which understandably results in a reaction of him looking at the camera like he had just witnessed a second Hiroshima.
I can argue.
Like how you lied about being from Texas when you live at...
I don't live there, buddy.
Really? Because your wife does.
You can actually find a lot of hate posts about him just showing his address, which is fucked up because he has a wife and kids and you are potentially putting him and his family in danger doing this. You shouldn't do this. But from the outside, with all of this happening, it has not hindered his activity at all. He seems to have more viewership than ever since he became the faithful sheriff. But obviously it has somewhat affected the burnt peanut brand and potentially added to the next problem Peanut has been facing.
Mr. Silly! A little bit of goop. A little bit of goop.
What is this background music, bro?
Bro, I'm such a chud.
Now the last problem is something I mentioned at the start of the video, which is when you get as big as Peanut and you are basically everywhere on most platforms. I think even I've been barraged by Peanut clips on my beloved Instagram Reels. And although it's probably not just Peanut himself posting all over these platforms, it's also his audience. But regardless, it still leads to the same result, which is that people get quickly tired of seeing you and in some cases just start to hate you. But for the burnt Peanut in this case, it's probably the fastest I've ever seen this happen because he only blew up like 4 to 5 months ago, and already both him, his audience, and even his catchphrases have been designated as cringe. Currently it's looking like
I realized over the social media courses, bro, like it's easier to like blow up fast and then come down, but it's harder to go slowly up. But it's better to blow up slowly rather than exponentially growing. It's just better to just do it slow.
Being a burnt Peanut fan is probably on the same levels as being a has-been hotel fan.
I'm gooping it. I'm gooping it. This is the best part. This is the best part. Just wait. Just wait. Hate for Mr. Nut is so forced because how can you hate him? He's just a silly little guy. Mr. Silly. Too silly.
A little bit of goop.
That made me cringe, bro.
It's even got to the point where people act like the burnt Peanut had beheaded each of their family members in front of them with how mad they are when it comes to talking about him.
The burnt Peanut has no choice but to rely on an AI avatar to pull viewers in. Why exactly? This is one of the most brutal and classic example of the BP. If he were to show his face on stream, he would get 0 viewers because his philitrum is way too short.
Even though you're not funny, you don't make your family laugh at the dinner table. I know you don't. What do you tell them? Yeah, I'm just a fucking peanut. I have a peanut mascot on, and I'll turn to the side and open my mouth. The kids love it, saying that, nigga, you are lame.
This seems to have been a thing that only...
That's the thing, bro. Hate. I realize this is the comedy committee. The hate will always come, because I've been a hater. I've been hating on motherfuckers, because look, it's unfortunate, but when somebody else is doing better than you, you have to unfortunately hate.
Recently happened because some people are confused how he went from generally loved to now widely hated. Some have blamed it on the fans on the older side of his audience, more accurately the millennials, citing the videos of them unironically repeating some of his catchphrases. But come on, millennials got completely fucked when it came to the housing market. Let them have their fun. But was it down to the fans of the burnt Peanut that he's now considered cringe? I don't necessarily think so. Yes, there are a few posts I've seen that may have contributed to it, and I don't think it's down to the behaviour of the burnt Peanut himself. He's been doing the same thing he always does. He hasn't really changed enough from what I've seen to warrant this shift. I think it's just the internet being the internet and the combination of blowing up so fast and being everywhere to the point where it gets somewhat annoying to people. Or you don't hold the same value than you did previously because you're mainstream now. And it's to the point where maybe your grandma is even saying things like she's gooping it, quoting him directly. So I guess it's not as cool as when he was more of a niche streamer. But yeah, it's quickly shifted from the burnt Peanut being widely praised to now people expressing how they're tired of seeing him and his audience.
I'm a motherfucking gooner goy. I'm a dreamer goy.
What is this background music, bro? I'm getting absolutely tired of it.
So in conclusion, the burnt peanut currently is seeing something that affects most people that get popular rather fast. Does it mean his online career is over and he's doomed to fall off? No, this will come and pass. A lot of the clones will, I assume, die off unless we do actually see what we saw with VTubers, where they do successfully branch away from being associated with Peanut. The criticism towards his content and fans is going to be around for a while. We are seeing a pack god-like situation with this, but people will eventually move on. However, currently the Peanut is doing fine. He's just as big and he's still one of the top streamers. Yes, these problems may have tainted his reputation and brand, but I think long term he'll be fine. But yeah, that's it. If you're using Linux to watch this right now, we get it, you're a fanboy. But make sure to uninstall the French language pack, it's been causing performance issues for Linux systems. But that's all I had to say.
What? Who the fuck? Bro, I guess a lot of people have stepped away from Windows because Linux has been doing a lot better than fucking Windows. Windows has been getting their ass cheeks eaten out, it seems like, because Windows has been releasing a lot of slop. I will say a lot of slop. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on with the world, bro. It's just seeming more and more like people are releasing slop all around. Like, it's just like everybody's chasing the bag. Like, I get it, bro. Like, we go after the money, you go after like getting the guaparoni, but I don't know, bro. Like, I think once you chase the money too hard, once you just are focused on nothing but getting the money, like it just ruins the art of it all. And like, I should be the last one speaking of this because, bro, like me doing stand-up, I am chasing the money, right? Like, I am chasing the fact that, hey, bro, like I'm able to do stand-up and make money from it, but it does seem like it does affect the art. When you start doing nothing but chasing the bag, like it affects the art. Because now it doesn't make any sense for you to like push the boundaries because now your checks are so big, right? When you were young and hungry and ready to just get at it, right? Like you were able to get a bunch more stuff done because you had nothing in your mind but success. You're ready to like, hey, I need to get here, I need to do this. But then when you become a larger than life character, you become friends with some of these creators, you become friends with some of these politicians, and you're like, bro, I don't want to roast them because I'm like friends with them, right? So it's harder as you become bigger and bigger, like to like genuinely enjoy content as much. That's why I see a lot of content creators that become more than a certain amount, like let's say they become like, you know, have millions in the bank or start having millions of followers, they end up becoming like super washed because like they end up focusing more on the money than the art. But that's why I feel like I don't want to give Sneeko too much praise, but he's been doing content for 10 plus years, right? He's like the same age as me. I don't think anything of it other than the fact that, bro, he is a good person to look at in a sense of like, bro, you see a lot of content creators take on a lot of gambling deals, a lot of these other deals, but he's kind of stick to his morals. He might do some weird, dumb ass shit. Like, I'm not saying like he's completely, you know, derived from that shit. He does do some stupid ass shit, but he does seem to have, you know, some really good characteristics where other characters that don't have it. You know, but either way, let's lock in on this Counter-Strike shit, chat. Let's get it. Oh, hold on, I need to turn off the audio.
Perfect.
I run outside with P250.
I follow you.
All right, baby, let's go outside.
I got a revolver.
I'm with you, bro. Let's go.
Crazy.
They won't stop us. Push! Push!
I'm trying.
They think we're going B. They think go away. They think we're going B. Go away. Let's get on site. Top goy. I'm top goy right here.
Shut up, nigga.
There it is.
All right, block him, block him. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. You're scared.
Oh, I'm 9. I'm 9.
My bad. Playtime, bro. It's 3v2.
Shut up, ugly ass bitch.
Damn, bro. We got a sad boy on the team. You
Hey,
okay,
don't be
bro?
mean.
Yeah, no, bro. It's okay. It's okay. Somebody give him a hug, bro. Is he okay?
Oh shit, he's on me. Both on site.
I'm coming.
Both on site. Oh, they ain't defusing.
I know. Don't worry.
They defusing. Yeah, they can't get it. He had a kid. He had a fucking kid.
Yeah, they bought kid first. That's all good. It's all good. It'd be like that, bro.
Shit, we got the 70 and 1,
Hey,
bro.
we still got money though. So, hey, run the ramp. Hey, everybody buy smoking bisons, bro. Fucking pre-fire, bro. We got bullets for days.
Let's go, my brother.
They can't stop me! Alright, smoke it. Oh, hey, smoke that molly. Go! Battle! This isn't run! I don't know where. My bad!
This is brutal.
My bad, bro. That was me. I killed whoever I killed. My for OG.
Hey, this war got me thinking about us, but I ran.
Alright, ban him real quick. Wait, who said that? Wait, who's the one that said it?
Hey, this war got me thinking about us, but I ran.
F1 for timeout real quick.
See outside.
Alright, hold on. One outside, one side. Go for pigs. I got him!
Perfect.
How do I only have 2? Oh, bro, he's lit as fuck. Bro, ain't no way! We're dog shit! Alright, let's go ramp again. How am I top front? What is going on? Alright, let's play it slow, bro. We gotta get some drones going. We need to get some drones going.
Who's playing Siege? Top garage.
Playtime, bro. Playtime. Get that money out. What rank is this, bruh? Let them rush us, bro. Don't worry. Green, just hold on to bomb, bro. Just play it safe. Hey, one ramp over here. Let's go slowly towards ramp. We can slowly go towards ramp. There's one guy here. He's right by me. He's like on ramp. He's like short. Hey, sling your dick out. Put your dick out. He's right there. I see him. Alright, hold on. Smoking. Allahu Akbar! Let's go, team! Oh my god! No. Go on B, you gotta go together. Okay. Bro, come on, team, go to ramp together, go! Yellow, go! You gotta go on, fucking just get that plant. One behind silo.
Silo.
Oh, good try.
Bubbles on you.
Alright, but you know, we should say fuck it and just grab P90s only.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Alright, bet. P90s outside, P90s outside.
Hey, rush secret.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
They
up.
Everybody get two flashes. They can't stop.
Smoke it.
Yeah, bro. Green got the best gun, bro. Alright, P90s and fucking negatives only, bro. Get a smoke in P90, and we're all good, bro. Flashing. Go, go. Kill him.
Hide.
Hey, go B. You got it. Get that plant. You need it. One coming vent. Somebody watch vent. One coming vent.
Bomb has been planted. Where's he coming?
Vent. Are you sure you heard me? He's vent.
Oh. Keep vent.
One ramp, one vent. You got it, Daddy! You got it! Hey, good try though.
What?
Good try. We locked in. Hey, look. We're not gonna look at the scoreboard right now. What we need to look at is how many P90s we got on this team. I think we need to just spray and pray.
Rush secret.
Fuck it. Hey, rush secret till we win, okay? Let's rush secret till we win. Get a round in. All right, I'm about it.
Smoke.
Oh! Go! We don't have enough P90s. Go B, get B. Yes, sir. Yellow's locked in. Yes, sir. Let's go. We're gonna win this shit. Hey, one ramp. Ramp's lit as fuck. Good shit. Just playtime. Just hide. Everybody hide. One ramp, one vent, I think. Oh no, both there. Both ramp. Just playtime. Just hide, baby girl.
Throwing a flashbang.
Door. Double door.
Playtime.
Yes! That's what we need! I'm telling you, bro. Alright, let's rush ramp.
No, secret alert.
No, bro. We run one area till we win. We just won ramp, so we need to start going.
I say A.
Alright, fuck it.
Hunt and squeaky.
Alright, bet. Alright, let's follow yellow, bro. Let's go in.
I'm mollying hut.
Alright, bet. Let's all go. I'm with it. Oh, 2 on site, 1 on silo, 2 on site, 2 on site, 1's on silo, 1's hut, 2 on silo. Hut. 2
Hike. You got an A?
It's all good. We all need to run in. It's all good. We got it, boys. What rank is this, bro?
Silver.
I'm the rank with 2 AKs crossed.
Oh, bro, this has to be, okay. Yeah, this has to be like a lot of people's rank ups. Or...
We don't care about comp.
Yeah, our fifth.
Wait, hold on.
We really care when we play Premier.
Hey, we should go down fucking vent and go to
ramp. On their molly this.
Go B. I'm stuck. I'm stuck somewhere.
Oh, both sides.
Alright, go vent. Go.
One's A. Single door, Muncher. Single door.
I'm Daddy!
Yes, sir.
Call me Daddy!
I planted the bomb.
I'm playing. I guess I'm planning. Hold on. I smoke vents.
I'm throwing a flashbang.
Who Who was that fucking using that again? Chill, man, chill. Don't do me like that. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I might die here in a second. Oh, fuck me. Don't worry, bro. We're back locked in, bro. We're back locked in. We're locked in as fuck, bro.
Hey. Hey, secret.
All right,
let's lock in
let's
here.
go.
Let's cook these fuckers.
Hey, get smokes and flash the secret.
And we got 2 and 6 right here. 2 and 6. Let's go outside, bro. Wait for that smoke. Wait for that smoke. Anybody got a flash? Flash it. Flash it. Flash it. Flash it. Flash. They're on save. They're on save. Rush in. Rush in. They're on save. Rush in. Rush in. Rush in. They don't know what's gonna hit them.
I'm throwing the flashbang.
Oh, and spawn in garage.
I'm throwing a grenade.
Hey, watch our back. Watch our back. Somebody stay back. Somebody watch our back. Somebody's coming secret. Yellow or orange going. Planning side now. Yeah, they're coming vent. Go vent. Go vent. I'll watch up here. Go vent orange.
Marshmallow?
Playtime. Oh, go back down. Go back down. Go molly bomb. Go molly the bomb. Yeah, buy off sometime.
I don't have out.
Wait, why do we leave bomb? Oh. How? How?
We're better.
I bet. Let's do it again. Same thing. They're on save, so they're gonna definitely have money this round.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, fuck buying real guns, bro. We should just fucking keep them. P90s. One short. Good shit. One short.
Door, still door. He's still door. Oh, you guys are pussy.
I got you, bro. Don't worry. Go.
Throwing the flashbang.
On site.
I died from rain.
What? Oh, he's ramp. One ramp lit. On the left side. Ramp. Left side. Yo, what is that? Get a P90. I'm broke as hell. Rush ramp. Drop a P90. Somebody drop a P90. Thanks, daddy. All right, run it, B. Ramp it. Bro, everybody buy 2 flashes, bro. Flash the fuck out of them, bro. If they can't see, they can't shoot. Turn them into Helen Keller, bro. Go. Wait, hold on. Wait for the molly. Go. Push in. Let's go. Orange got our back. Somebody plant.
Double doors.
Oh, help me! Double doors and single door. Double and single. Raw dog. Single and double. You saw him. Two ramp. Good try, baby girl. Good try. 8 and 3. We're in there. We're in there. Oh damn, they got like fucking motherfuckers really getting it. All right, fuck it. Let's go. Let's go A main. Let's go A main. We got it. We got it, A main. Damn, chat, they're whooping us bad, bro. 8 and 3 right now. If we get 8 and 4, we can win this game. Wait. Go for picks. Go for picks. Wait it out. Wait it out. Where's the bomb? No! I tried to get the bomb. Bro, he got the bomb down in the... I got 6 kills, bro. I got 6 kills. There's nothing I can do to fucking... Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and focus on other things. We got whooped bad.
Terrorists win.
Let's go earn our pay.
Hey, Muncher, can we get a speech real quick?
Alright! Listen! They don't know what we got in our hearts! They don't know how hard we work! We should all stand together! We all need to run together!
Yeah!
Go outside, let's get it, let's run it outside! They don't know what's in our hearts! They pussy compared to us! We might be losing, but they ain't got war like us! We're gonna win this shit! We're gonna run their fucking pussies wet, let's go! They ain't got passion like us! They ain't got fucking bullshit like us! Alright, where they at, bro? They might have ran ramp. They might have ran ramp.
They're on B.
B, let's go.
And they're all my meat.
Get him, Green. You got him. Alright, he got you. Alright, I'll just
How
kill
did
him.
that not work, dude? What happened?
Don't worry, bro. Daddy got him.
Nice.
Turkey buds! It's all good. Bro, that was the worst strat ever, bro. Alright, Bison, we got this. Hey, brothers. If we all stick together, they can't kill us all, right? Should we all ram together? Like, just run. If we're gonna lose as a brotherhood, okay? I'm behind y'all, bro. We're gonna do this together, okay? Run it ramp. No stopping. Push. Oh fuck! Through the volley! Let's get it! Oh my god! It's only cause Orange didn't come with us.
Bomb has been planted.
You better win this single-handedly, bro. You should have.
A polycan?
You better win this single-handedly.
Terrorists win.
Alright, ban him.
Get him out.
Yeah, if we all stuck together, we would have won, bro. F1 for timeout. Bison out. Alright, everybody just run a train, bro. It's okay. Hell yeah. Hey, protect green at all costs. Protect green at all costs, bro. Alright, we're gonna follow green, okay? Alright, hold on. Just protect green at all costs, bro. Alright, we're just gonna pass that gun around. Pass that gun around. And win any means necessary, bro. Oh my god! One silo. Good shit. Protect green, bro.
Protect me. I'm the president.
Yeah, bro, this is American-Iran war, except we're Iran, bro. Hey, they might be A. Hold on. Why are y'all in vents, bro? It's the worst place possible for an
Because
auto.
we're sussy.
It might be A. They're A. Good shit. Get him. One B dead. Good shit. Alright, last guy. Hold sights. Yo, what the fuck? No! He's A! Bro, why did he shoot that guy? We're gonna... Oh my god. No! Oh, because he shot his teammate. We have to have brotherhood. Alright, I will sacrifice ourselves for this, bro. Hold on. I'm gonna get some fucking intel.
It's XM time. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice ourselves. 3 and 12.
Don't do it. Don't
3
do
and...
it.
Don't worry, bro. I'm gonna win this. Don't worry, bro. Oh! You got it! Avenge me! Avenge me!
Incendiary out.
One more there. I dropped a molly right behind you. And we got bomb ramp. Get it. There's 2 A main. Good try.
Yeah, let's chalk it up.
No, green got it, bro. 5 HP.
Terrorists win.
Good game, bro. Good game. All right, we tried.
Man. You made my night.
Hey, good shit. Hey, we tried our best, bro. For the brotherhood. I got 7 kills. This is kind of sad. Oh my god, what is this ranking? Hey, yo! What is this rank? I haven't played in so long, bruh. Chat, look, I haven't played in long enough to be fucking playing with people with that high ranks. Look. I had a good time. That's all I can say. I had a good time. I hope y'all had a good time, bro. Cause that's all really it comes down to, bro. I think at this point, bro, like the way world is going, the way everything is going, you know, we're just really having fun. There's no really like any ways of doing anything. Like it's just you just have fun. You just kind of just enjoy life. You kind of just go about your day, kind of vibe out, kind of just see how things go. There's no really like right or wrong. Like you just have a fucking fun time. I don't want to get too dull in situations. I don't want to avoid too many situations because of this or that, you know? I think I just want to have fun. I think I truly just prefer like trying both sides of the world, right? Like there are some people that only want to do the good stuff. And there are some people that only want to do the bad stuff, like the war stuff, the really crazy geopolitical stuff. Why can't we just do in the middle, right? Like I think that's why I like DJ Academics, right? Like I've always liked Big Act. You know, I always appreciated Big Act because he kind of keeps it like, you know, right in the middle, right? Like he kind of sometimes does all the crazy stuff. He sometimes does all the good stuff. But I think it's always good to have a healthy balance because I feel like if you start doing too much of the good stuff, you're going to start keeping people that are not giving a true fuck about you. If you start doing too much of the unhealthy stuff, some of the wild stuff all the time, people are going to stay for only the crazy stuff you deal with. So I think you have to do a little bit of both, right? Like I genuinely feel that way. I think we're in a place in life where we can't consistently just push propaganda. And the propaganda really starts with either you do one or the other. Why can't we just do a cool happy medium? Why can't we just have fun? Why can't we just go back to the good old days? I feel like a lot of things just seem too crazy now. But I don't know. Let's just end it off in a
The Middle
crazy...
East is in flames. Britain has been dragged into an illegal war, the aims of which are entirely unclear. It's a war of choice, and the man who chose it is Benjamin Netanyahu.
MrYahoo.com.
Yet again is the West dancing to Israel's tune. I've made a number of videos exposing Israeli crimes. This one is different. It's directed at conservatives and people generally who support the state of Israel. I believe our indulgence of Israel is not just morally wrong, it's against the interests of the US and the UK, and ultimately against the interests of Israel itself. It is leading us all to disaster. Palestine is the place you come thundering, crashing into the buffers, the limits of the Western liberal moral imagination. The tragedy and complexity of Israel is that it's both a product of the most unspeakable racism and a cause of it. Zionism was born from the suffering of Jewish people in Europe, culminating in the Holocaust, from a desire for a safe haven, a territory where Jews would for once be the hosts and not the eternal guests. It was framed as a return to a historic biblical homeland, and for its supporters, these two factors give it an entirely different complexion morally from other enterprises where predominantly European populations have settled far-flung parts of the world. There's no doubt that the Zionist dream has enormous emotional power. The problem, of course, is the other side of the equation, the people it was inflicted upon, the Palestinians, whose experience of dispossession and subjugation was no different from that of countless other peoples subjected to European colonialism. In fact, arguably, it's been considerably worse than many, precisely because of the license and indulgence granted to the Israeli state. Let's lay out the bald, indisputable facts. In 1948, more than 80% of the Palestinian population of what became Israel fled their homes. Now, if you want to believe this was not an act of deliberate ethnic cleansing, fine. What's undeniable is that they were never allowed to return. In 1947, they were there. In 1949, they were not. The granting of the vote to that small fragment of the Palestinian population that remained provided a democratic fig leaf for the new state, one that was blown away once the Israelis occupied Gaza and the West Bank in 1967. There, it controls their lives. Jewish settlers, on the other hand, occupying the same territory, do. Even in East Jerusalem, which, as far as the Israeli government is concerned, has been formally annexed to Israel, Palestinians cannot vote. Political rights depend upon ethnicity. That is not democracy. Israel is, and has always been, a state whose defining feature is that it's structured to ensure the domination of one ethnicity over another.
And do y'all feel this is real or Israel? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just fucking around and finding out. Because, like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that all these liberals talk about, hey, we need to go for rights, we need to do this, we need to do that, but they don't really support this shit. I'm like, oh, I see what you want. You just want to get a little pat on your back. You just want a little pat on your back.
What else does the term a Jewish state mean? This is the elephant in the room, the simple, blindingly obvious, undeniable fact that the Western political media class has decided that we must never mention or acknowledge, despite the fact that all of the world's leading human rights organizations, including the Israeli NGO B'Tselem, have denounced Israel as an apartheid state. Now, scour the history of the modern world. No people has ever resigned itself to being second-class citizens in their own country. Spend just 10 minutes at a checkpoint in the West Bank and you get it. The disfiguring dehumanization, the humiliation of elderly men and women forced to stand in the sun for hours waiting for 18-year-olds to search them, the brutalization of young men in particular, the daily control of rage that is the lot of every Palestinian. It is simply emotionally, psychologically intolerable. Yes, you'll have periods of calm as successive generations are bludgeoned into submission. But ultimately, the spirit of resistance will always...
Whoever stands for Palestine stands for humanity at this point, bro. Like, it's simple as that, bro. Like, we realize, like for a little while, bro, like, you want to draw the line in the sand. If you stand for Palestine, you stand for humanity. That's as simple as that, bro. Like, don't do that, none of that fucking, oh, I'm a fucking this or that. Like, I'm with this, that. Like, I'm for global warming, but you don't, bro, suck my dick. You talk about global warming. Global warming don't mean nothing when you fucking got people bombing a whole fucking ethnic cleansing of something. Suck my dick, Greta Thunberg. Suck my dick. You fucking stupid little hoe. Suck my dick.
Up again, because it is human nature for it to do so. Now, of course, there are countries where settler colonial projects have succeeded and produced stable, prosperous nations. The United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, but all succeeded only because demographic catastrophe was inflicted upon the indigenous population. They effectively became entirely different countries through a combination of disease and genocide. And disease isn't going to do the job for the Israelis. Let's imagine a best-case scenario from a Zionist perspective. At present, despite almost 80 years of expulsion and oppression, 50% of the population between the River Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea is still Palestinian. Perhaps the Israelis will succeed in encouraging, and that's very much a euphemism, sufficient numbers of Palestinians to emigrate, that a solid Jewish majority is assured, that they cease to be South Africa and become Australia. Palestinians might be reduced to an exotic remnant, providing cultural colour, selling souvenirs to tourists in the old city of Jerusalem, in Nablus, in Hebron. Perhaps Israel will somehow veer back from what at present appears to be its trajectory towards what can only be called theocratic fascism, enabling its Western supporters to maintain the illusion, in that tired old phrase, that Israel is the only...
Remember, that red light's on you. What you gonna do when that red light's on you?
...democracy in the region. But Israel isn't Australia. Just look at where it is, a tiny country in the heart of the Middle East, squatting on top of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, the significance of which is never grasped in the West, never integrated into the Middle East, but apart from it. A country defined by hostility towards, indeed contempt, for the history, the religion, and the culture of the people around it. And if you don't think Israel is a society rooted in contempt for its neighbours, you haven't spent time there, particularly in the West Bank, with your eyes and your ears open. Does that really sound like a healthy, tenable, long-term solution? What's the alternative? It's actually remarkably simple. It's the same as in all settler colonial countries, the granting of full civil, political, and human rights to all of its inhabitants. One-state solution, two-state solution, that's something for the people themselves to decide. It all becomes much less intractable once the requirement of ethnic domination is removed. For Palestinians, this would require them to live in peace and harmony alongside people who have brutalized and humiliated them for almost 80 years. And yes, there are Palestinians who yearn for a return to the Palestine of their grandparents and great-grandparents. Given what's happened to them since, who can blame them? But in my experience of Palestinians, and this includes those in and around Hamas, the vast majority would bite your hand off for simple equality. Study the history dispassionately, analytically. In practice, whatever the defiant rhetoric, once you enter serious negotiations, Palestinians have always shown themselves ready to compromise, almost pathetically so. Yasser Arafat in the 1990s settled for far, far less than equality. The problem is on the other side. Let's be clear. Equality, the granting of full civil, political, and human rights to everyone, means the death of the dream of a Jewish state. Yes, Israel would remain a land containing large numbers of Jews, quite possibly a majority, but ethnic primacy, domination, would no longer be guaranteed. And for all we attempt to obfuscate the fact, that has always, in practice, been the core requirement of Zionism. The law of return, the right of any Jew anywhere in the world to go and live in Israel, could be retained, but it would have to be accompanied by a right of return for Palestinians. To say people of one ethnicity can move to Israel on the basis of a 2,000-year-old biblical connection, but those of another ethnicity driven from their homes just...
The way I think about it, bro, if like a child was their parents' favorite, right? Like the way I think about it, if you were your parents' favorite, but you started having a drug problem, and now you started stealing from your parents, now you started doing all kinds of shit where you're fucking causing a havoc in the neighborhood, now you're causing all kinds of issues in your parents' neighborhood, and now you're making it really hard for your parents to live in that neighborhood, you're no longer gonna be the fucking favorite. I get it. The Jews were the favorite. Oh, the Israelites were the favorite. But Israel was created in 1950 or something, like 48, right? So you named yourself after the city that God pointed out. Sure, the Jews, the Israel, technically the real Israelites are the black people, right? The Africans are the real Israelites, as they say. But if you were the real Israelites, the real fucking motherfuckers that God appointed, but you start acting this way, you're no longer gonna be the favorite. If God made you his favorite, if your parents made you the favorite, and all of a sudden you start acting a certain way where you act to a point where you think you're the best, God's not gonna make you his favorite, you fucking loser, you scum. Because you're hurting other people because you're the favorite, you're gonna be favorite. No, fuck you. Fuck you, stupid. You stupid. Give me that. You don't know what to do with it. Give me that, you stupid. You no longer the favorite when you start doing things thinking you're so privileged that you are not fucking able to be judged. You absolute buffoon. And I'm not talking about a specific race. I'm not talking about a specific religion. I'm talking about just people in general. If you truly feel like you're so special that you cannot feel God's wrath, you are a buffoon. You absolute loser. You absolute degenerate.
80 years ago cannot is patently, self-evidently racist and morally untenable. Just think of what Israel could be with its coastline and unique historical sites, the epicenter of the world's three great monotheistic religions. It could become a monument to the human capacity for reconciliation and coexistence. And from a Western perspective, just imagine a world where we don't find ourselves in a state of perpetual antagonism towards the world's 2 billion plus Muslims, where we don't find ourselves endlessly having to ally with dictators and monarchies in the Middle East, because we know that as soon as those countries have governments that reflect the will of their people, there will be no more cynical alliances with Israel. A world where we are not eternally morally compromised by our support for a state the vast majority of the world can see is racist, even if we cannot. Yes, America might lose its aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean. Yes, perhaps the CIA-Mossad relationship might not be quite what it was, the deep state connections. But then, without Zionism, how much would we need these things? And in any case, no one's going to stop the Americans placing an actual aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean. The idea that America's capacity to project power in the region depends on Israel is absurd. A peculiarity of the alliance with Israel was always that we managed to pick the one country in the region that has no significant natural resources. Again, apply rational, dispassionate analysis. What does America actually get in return for the billions of dollars it pours down the throat of the Israeli state? What's the cost-benefit analysis? The alternative is decades, possibly centuries, of brutal repression and Western complicity in that repression. Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich may revel in such a prospect. But is that really what the bulk of Israel's supporters in the West want? Is it really what Israelis want? In the words of the great Desmond Tutu, oppressing people makes you miserable. When you dehumanize others, you dehumanize yourselves. It's a horrible way to live. To psychologically sustain it, you have to close off the best part of yourself. Look at this photo. A woman holds up a noose and a lethal injection, celebrating Israeli plans to introduce the death penalty for Palestinians. Her husband holds a gun labelled with the word occupation, a plane labelled with the word expulsion, and a house labelled settlement. This woman is not some fringe extremist. This grinning, leering spectre is the deputy speaker of the Knesset.
That's genuinely fucked up, dude.
The Israeli parliament. This is what oppression does to the oppressor. It demeans and it disfigures. Is this really part of our Western civilization? Something we want to be defending and justifying? And if that moral, spiritual argument carries no weight, there is a colder calculation. The present status quo, where less than 8 million Jewish Israelis are able to dictate terms to 500 million Arabs, not to mention almost 100 million Iranians, is a bizarre aberration. It is a balance of power that cannot possibly endure. When and how the system of ethnic supremacy in the Eastern Mediterranean comes to an end is impossible to foresee, but end it will. And when it does, the Israelis and those who've indulged them for so long may well rue the fact they never learned to live as neighbours rather than overlords. Mainstream media never analyzes or questions the fundamentals of the Western relationship with Israel. It falls on...
That's so true. They never will fucking question it because they're getting so much guap, bro. That's what we forget. They getting that big joint. They be getting that big bucks. Chat. There's no getting around that. If you getting paid, you're not gonna question your boss how they paying you. They just paying you, bro. That's what it is. It's the way of life. There's no getting around the way of life. You're gonna make sure how you getting paid is how you stay getting paid. There's no way around that. You have fun while you can have fun, and it's simple as that. I'm changing up my lifestyle so I can fund my lifestyle, right? Like I know that made no sense just for a second. I just thought about it. But in general, you change up things, you do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, whoever is paying you is the way that you run how you run your life. If you your own boss, you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want. But if somebody's paying you, your political opinions and your freedom of expression only depends on that person. And as simple as that. And the world is run by a simple fact. It's run by the dollar. It's genuinely run by the dollar. The Iranians are really pushing that hegemony, the American hegemony. They're making to where Chinese yuan is the way they trade the oil. Because American dollars are tied to the oil. If people start trading oil in Chinese yuan, then ooh, we Americans in trouble. But I feel like in all reality, America might start using them nukies on them dookies. And that's when it gets really scary. It gets really scary when America drops a nuke on Iran. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's for real possible, but it is likely. And that's what gets scary real quick. That's what gets real scary if the nukies on them dookies get released. Because Iran and Pakistan have a treaty where Pakistan will retaliate on Iran's behalf if America hits it with nukes. And I don't know how true that is because America does have some treaties with Pakistan, but you know, the enemy of your enemy is my friend. And I don't know how that will work in this situation. Because the world is in a weird place. The culture is in a weird place. I don't know how things are really moving right now. I think everybody's genuinely so confused right now. everybody's in a place where they don't know where to go. They don't know if they need to support America, if they need to support Iran, because Spain is not really fucking, like, NATO in general is not fucking with America's move right now, because NATO really focuses on European and focuses on that side of the world. America is its own island. Canada and Mexico are on this American island, but like America runs this bitch, right? Like America's like, bro, suck my dick. Suck my dick, Canada. Canada is like just an extension of America. If America wanted to run over fucking Canada, they will. And America wanted to run over Mexico, they will. And I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, that might be a possibility where America genuinely takes over Canada and Mexico. There might be a genuine possibility because they're looking at Cuba. America's looking at Cuba like, hey, yo, come slide that dick. Come slide on that dick right now. You about to take this dick all the way. And I think that's a crazy sign of an empire in decline. When all they're focused on is slinging that dick around. I don't know. I love this country. I really don't want it to go anywhere. You know, America is the biggest and baddest motherfucker in the world. It genuinely is, but it has lost its way in the last 5 to 10 years. Since 2016, I feel like it's lost its way. After Obama, he was bombing every fucking country possible. He was the first black president ever, but they had something on him. Possibly the fact that his wife might be a man. But the fact that he started bombing weddings, he was hitting 90% civilians and possibly getting 10% of Al-Qaeda, even though America's supporting Al-Qaeda at one point, right? Right now, America and ISIS locked in together. Chat, I feel like the world is so contradictory that all you can truly depend on is yourself and God. Just sit back and just kind of chill and just let's just have fun. Let's get a cold one. Let's go camping. I don't know. I was in Florida last week and I ended up going to MegaCon. That was fun. But what pissed me off was I wasn't able to stream properly. While I was at MegaCon, my stream kept crashing and I wasn't able to post exactly my whole stream. It looked like on the app that it was going, but until like 2 hours in, I realized my app was crashing constantly. And on YouTube, it only posted 30 minutes of my stream when I streamed like 2 hours of it. So I still have some video saved and I want to really post that video eventually. But that's what life is really about. You think you're on the correct path. You think you're on the right path. You've been on that path for 2 hours. But only 30 minutes of that path gets posted. The hour and a half that you did not post has the most amount of content that you can imagine. The 30 minutes that you posted only has the intro. And the other 30 minutes to an hour that you have is genuinely the meats and bones of that shit. And that's the thing right now. The wars we're in, the whack ass battles we're dealing with right now, chat, we're only seeing the fucking real crevices of it. We don't see the fucking damage it's causing, right? We don't see the level of absolute pain and carnage it's causing across the Middle East. The problem is America is all the way over here. It's all the way in the West. Most countries that have, other than Russia and China, most countries can't reach over here. They don't have the bombs. They don't have the capacity to hit America. So America never feels the level of pain and carnage that it causes overseas. And that's good and bad, because obviously the American people, the 300 million people over here, are safe and sound. And I don't think there's only 300 million, 350 million as the census said. I genuinely think America has somewhere roughly about 400 million people, and about 40, I mean, they said during the Biden presidency, they had about 10 to 20 million people come over here. I think roughly there's 400 million people in America. Sure, there might have been a census of 50 million or 350 million, but there's got to be like at least in Alaska, there's a bunch of people that were never accounted for. And even in mainland America, there's a lot of people that live on farms that never filled out that fucking census form, right? So I genuinely feel like there's like 400 million people in America. And the fact that only a very handful of people can cause a war. And this is an illegal war. We know this. We know this by the Constitution. We all know how to read, right? Am I wrong? Or do we not know how to read anymore? They have dumbed down our fucking education system, sure. But they definitely are not able to completely take away your chromosome from your dome. So I think everybody needs to really realize where they're getting their information from. They need to realize where they're getting their true facts from. Because I might be wrong sometimes. So I want you to research me. I want you to be able to sit back and really study on your own. Don't listen to just what I'm saying. I want you to be able to open your mind on your own. Don't necessarily just focus on what I say, because I might be too lit. I might be too lit to give you all these facts. I just want you to just understand I'm opening up your mind, because look, the way the world is moving right now, the way we're moving as a unit is not good. Because as humanity, we're harming 90% of the population, so just so the 10% of the population can do good. And the thing is that 10% of the population is running the economy going. And that's the craziest part. You got people in Africa so poor. Africa is so large. It bothers me. It really bothers me. The fact that we shrunken a continent to absolute eternity. When you shrink a people's continent, when you shrink a landmass, then you shrink their reality. You shrink their fucking history. And that's what's wrong about us. That's what's wrong about schooling system. That's what's wrong about education. That's what's wrong. What's going on with the world. You have a handful of people faking everything. We live in a facade. This is a facade. All of it. All of it. I live in a facade. You live in a facade. We all live in a delusion that we cannot get out of right now. And that's what the Matrix truly is. When you go to the Amazon jungle, when you talk about really, really mind-bending lying strategies, we realize that Africa has been shrunk on our global maps. I'm not a motherfucker that talks about the real earth, the flat earth. Let me look this up. I mean, even this is not good enough. Africa is nearly as wide as Russia. Wide, I'm talking wide, not just the length of it, the real map of the world. I don't know if this is right though. I don't know. I'm kind of playing around. I mean, this seems about what reality shows. This is what I've seen with the stuff that I've studied. With the stuff that I've studied in real life. This is what the size of Africa looks like. Compared to America, compared to Europe, Africa seems to be huge. Huge. And chat, I don't know. I'm not a historian. I'm not anybody important. I'm just an average American citizen. Africa was shrunk down. What is there that they've made us not aware of? What is there in Africa that have made us afraid of it? Look at this. They put China, India, and United States in Africa. Africa is genuinely large, but that's the thing. I don't know what that means. What is there to really truly mean by that? Like, I don't know. If we're lied to about the map of the world, then we're lied to about everything. I sit back and think about certain things. And I wonder, like, what are these people hiding? What is there that we cannot know the truth? There's so many things in India. There's so many temples in India that make me learn about that. I don't know. Like I told you, I love that ancient history stuff. I love any of that ancient history stuff. Because it teaches you something genuine. It teaches you a level of, oh shit, we might be in some bullshit. You know? Because the real map of the world is genuinely is conspiratorial at this point, right? Like it's genuinely conspiratorial. It's starting to feel like they're feeling something. They're hiding something from you. I don't know. I don't know what it means. Let me see. Let's go ahead and look at some history. I don't know. Depends on the map. You've been lied to. Oh my god.
It turns out, most of the facts you learned in geography class, and might still believe, are just straight up wrong. For example, did you know that most penguins actually live in a desert, or that there's a mountain taller than Mount Everest? Here are 50 facts about geography that almost everyone gets wrong. Number 50. The highest mountain in the world. Since the 1950s, 4,000 people have successfully scaled Mount Everest, and at least 300 more have died trying. As the world's tallest mountain, the so-called Jewel of the Himalayas is considered the final boss for mountaineers all over the world. But what if we told you that Everest isn't actually the tallest mountain on Earth? That honor actually goes to Mauna Kea, a dormant volcano in the Hawaiian Islands. Mauna Kea's height from base to tip is 33,500 feet, or just over 10,200 meters tall, which is almost 4,500 feet or 1,400 meters taller than Everest. The only reason this fact isn't more commonly recognized is that most of Mauna Kea's height is underwater. It's probably a little harder to climb a mountain when you have to start at the bottom of the ocean. Number 49. Despite being the highest point above sea level, Everest isn't the closest point on the Earth to outer space either. That honor actually goes to Mount Chimborazo, a volcano located in Ecuador in the Andes mountain range. While Earth is spherical, it isn't a perfect sphere, and it's a little bit wider around the middle than it is at the top or bottom.
Okay, hold on. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find a map of Africa. Like that's the thing. The map of Africa. Let's see.
Welcome to the 34th episode of the African Mega Project. Today, I invite you to look at the world.
This seems like AI, like a motherfucker, bro.
Not through the lens of politics or economics, but through something quieter, yet profoundly influential, cartography. Because sometimes the most powerful distortions aren't loud. They are printed on classroom walls and embedded in textbooks. They are accepted without question. I'm talking about maps, specifically the Maketa projection, a map that has shaped our global imagination for centuries. Created in 1569 by Gerardus Maketa, this projection was revolutionary for its time. It preserved angles and direction, making it ideal for sailors navigating the global waters. But what it gave to navigators,
this seems
it took
like
from
AI,
truth.
bro. I'm not doing none of that AI shit. This is map of. Ooh, this might be it. 41 minutes though.
Last year, I showed you all this map of Africa from 1935 so that we could learn more about the colonial apparatus that had the continent in its grips at this time. And I thought this turned out to be a pretty good video, as it definitely got more views than most of my recent ones, so clearly you all did too. But I also got a lot of comments complaining that the video was too Eurocentric, which I guess is fair. For what was supposed to be a video about Africa, I did end up talking mostly about Europeans' actions here. But also, I mean, that was kind of the point, to illustrate how decisions made by European powers nearly a century ago continue to affect politics on the continent today. Though okay, yeah, sure, I get what you're saying. A map like this, with its colonial borders and colonial place names, completely fails to communicate anything about the people who actually lived here during this period. So I kept my eyes peeled, and sure enough, while on a trip to New Orleans last summer, I stopped by the Crescent City bookstore, where I found... What did I find? There it is. Can you see it? Crescent City bookstores. Oh, you can just barely see it. Let's take it out. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. Oh! Okay, let's just try showing you all like this.
I might have to fucking speed past this. Oh shit. Because it's like, they be a little slow.
So this is how it goes. That is a map of Africa if I've ever seen one. What did I find? I found this map titled Johnson's Africa. Dated to the year 1866, that makes this, 69 years older than this, and places this map 20 years prior to the infamous Berlin Conference and the formalization of the scramble for Africa, giving us a glimpse of the continent mere moments before it would be forever altered by colonialism, when it was still home to its own kingdoms, caliphates, empires, nations, and more. So let's try this again and...
Ooh, this is what I wanted to see. Yes, sir.
See what else we can learn about Africa circa 1866. Alright, how does this look? That looks good to me. Alright, just like last time, we're going to start all the way up here in the northwestern corner of the continent. Today, this region doesn't really have a general name, at least not in English, but 150 years ago, this area was well known as Barbary. This name comes from the nomadic Berber people who have been known to live throughout these areas pretty much since time immemorial. Although this name has drifted out of use today, back when it was properly in use, Barbary was known around the world as a hub for piracy. The main business of the Barbary pirates, ironically enough, was the capture and trade of enslaved people they obtained by raiding villages along the northern coast of the Mediterranean. In the centuries prior to this map's making, over 1 million people were stolen from what would become Spain, France, and Italy and sold in North African markets to Arab Muslim buyers. This is important to understand because the Barbary slave trade was one of the main justifications Europeans used to launch military campaigns of their own into these areas, as they saw conquering their opposing coastlines as the only way to defend themselves. Though by this time, the only European power to have succeeded at this was France, having secured Algeria 3 decades earlier. We can see this early form of French Algeria clung entirely to the Mediterranean coast, while it was the Sultanate of Morocco, or should I say Morocco, that had control over the interior at this time. On the other side of French Algeria lied the Beylik of Tunis, the precursor to the modern country of Tunisia. I called this a beylik because, well, that's what it was. This territory wasn't ruled by a sultan or a king, but rather a bey, and thus the state he governed was neither a sultanate nor a kingdom, but
we got a bey. No, my bad. I'm just kind of
a beylik. When this map was printed, this title belonged to Muhammad as-Siddiq, perhaps better known as Sadoq Bey. Although he seems to have been a fairly progressive leader, enacting the Arab world's first constitution, creating a structured government that limited his own powers, Sadoq Bey's reign would end 20 years after this with the signing of the Bardo Treaty, handing over power to the French. And I find it interesting that even before Africa's colonial period had really gotten underway, the states of the Barbary coast were organized pretty much the same way they are now, something that might help explain the relative stability of these countries post-decolonization. Though moving east, we'll find what's now Libya was divided into 2 states, Tripoli and Fezzan, which if you ask me is a smart way to organize this region. The Tripolitanians shared a similar coastal identity, living in cities and farming what arable land there was, whereas the desert-dwelling Fezzan people lived completely different lifestyles, being a mostly nomadic, pastoral people. Seeing it like this, I hope you can begin to understand how making one country from what was once 2 or 3 unrelated territories has proven so problematic. Besides that, we'll find an Egyptian state very similar to the one that exists here today. The ruler at this time, however, was Ismail Pasha, whose title was also neither a sultan, king, or bey, but rather Khedive, making this the Khedivate of Egypt. While at this point it might seem like North Africa was home to all sorts of cool and uniquely native styles of governance, the truth is none of these states were actually independent, but rather they were all tributary states to the Ottoman Empire. That's what this red boundary indicates, the extent of Ottoman sovereignty, which was only broken by France's incursion into Algeria. To be honest, I'm not quite sure if the Ottomans' presence here counts as European colonialism per se, but it definitely was a form of foreign rule that had its base of operations.
Why they all got red hats?
Pretty much in Europe, though at the same time, the Europeans certainly didn't see it this way, as they would later make it their goal to totally expel the Ottomans from the continent. Though at least when this map was made, this had not yet happened, and the Ottomans were simply in severe decline, which actually afforded these states a fair degree of autonomy. The Khedive of Egypt, for example, was independent enough to launch a military campaign of his own into neighboring Nubia, even so far as Sennar, on paper bringing these lands under Ottoman control, but functionally making them an Egyptian colony. To put it bluntly, the purpose of this conquest was again to amass slaves, as the ruling Khedive was hoping to raise an army of Nubian slave soldiers to fight against the Ottomans occupying his country, with the ultimate goal of achieving Egyptian independence once and for all. Beyond Nubia are several smaller states such as Darfur, Kordofan, and Sennar, each falling on different sides of red lines, which I hope illustrates how each of these areas hosted people from different ethnic groups who follow different religions and speak different languages. Nevertheless, these sultanates would eventually be grouped together with Nubia into the British Sudan colony, helping to explain why the modern country of Sudan continues to struggle with maintaining unity. In fact, you can actually see what were once the lands of Kordofan and Sennar lines up almost perfectly with the borders of the world's youngest nation, South Sudan. Meanwhile, what's left of Sudan is currently fighting another civil war, this time between East and West, or really between what was once Nubia and Darfur. Once again, I hope you can see how the historic divisions preserved on maps like this continue to affect the world today. Beyond the safety of the Nile, we'll find much of the African interior without many territorial demarcations. Of course, we know this area to be the largest expanse of rock and sand on the planet, so it makes sense that far less was known about it. Heck, an official name still hadn't even been settled on. As we can see, it was labeled both as the Sahara or the Great Desert. And isn't that funny? People used to simply call this the Great Desert, which I guess reveals how many perceived it at the time, the wall of sand at the footstep of the known world. Being aware of how truly vast and barren this area is, it's understandable nobody had mapped this desert in detail yet, and honestly, I'm impressed with the amount of detail that was included here. This area below Fezzan, for example, what's now northern Chad, was thought of as the country of the Tibu or Tida. Those names refer to the Tobu people who first settled in the Tibesti Mountains around 500 BCE and continue to inhabit these desert mountains to this day, meaning this part of the map remains impressively accurate. Below the Tibu is the name Kanem, no doubt a reference to the Kanem-Bornu Empire. Last year, I showed you all this map of Africa.
Why do I keep hitting 0? Oh my god!
Bringing these lands on continues to struggle with maintaining the same Safavid dynasty for nearly 8 at the time. The wall of affect the world today. Beyond the safety of the Nile, well, the hadn't even people used to simply call this the grown world. We had mapped on, for example, what's now first settled in the Tibesti Mountains
Bro,
around
I kind of fucking hate the. I'm gonna hit the num lock. I keep hitting the fucking
500
zero.
BCE and continue to inhabit these desert mountains to this day, meaning this part of the map remains impressively accurate. Below the Tibu is the name Kanem, no doubt a reference to the Kanem-Bornu Empire. In the distant past, Kanem had been one of the most powerful states in medieval Africa, having lasted in some form or another under the same Safavid dynasty for nearly 800 years, making this one of the longest-lived empires in the continent's entire history. However, by this time, the Safavid dynasty had been displaced by the rise of all these states to the south, and now a sheik ruled over the country, bringing this period of Kanemi influence to an end. Then, further west were the lands of the Imoshach or the Tawarer. Although I didn't immediately recognize these names, after some thought I realized today we'd use the terms Amazigh or Tuareg to describe the people here. Related to the Berbers, the Amazigh are again a nomadic people who have traveled across these dunes for untold generations, and still do to this day. Immediately below them are the Air or Aspen people. Today, we understand this to be another branch of the desert-roaming Berber people, but specifically those who have taken up refuge within the Air Mountains, which offer a unique respite from the surrounding sand dunes, leading the Air people to develop their own sense of identity. Beyond that was the land of Azawad. This is yet another Tuareg term, this time meaning homeland, suggesting this is where many of the desert nomads
Look at this fucking can. Oh my god, dude.
originated. While some might try to fault this map for failing to define the boundaries between the Tibu, Tuaregs, Ayers, and Amazighs, the truth is, as nomadic peoples who were constantly moving between the oases and wadis, there was no sense of land belonging to any one person or group, but rather whoever happened to be passing through at the time, making their nations practically impossible to define from a lines on maps perspective anyway. And so I'd argue that the lack of borders here is actually more accurate than any line in the sand European explorers could have drawn. Though once we cross the Sahara, we'll enter a region known at this time as Sudan, which appears to stretch the width of the continent. This might seem strange to some of you, as this name—
Yeah, bro, apparently the width of Africa from here to all the way here is way wider than apparently Asia in general. I know in school they say Asia is the biggest continent in the world, but it's apparently a lie.
Now is associated with just 1 or 2 countries, but before that, Sudan was the name attributed to the entire transition zone between the northern desert and the southern forests, an area we know now as the Sahel. Whatever you call it, crossing into the Sudan, farming becomes possible once more, leading to larger population centers surrounded by more organized states with well-defined territories. However, I'll admit I didn't really recognize many of these, as there aren't really any modern-day equivalents to them. This only made me even more curious, and digging a little deeper led me to learn these states were all the result of one of the single most impactful yet overlooked events in all of African history, the Fulani Jihads. Although Islam arrived to North Africa rather quick after its founding, as always, the Sahara posed an immense boundary for its spread any deeper into the continent. To make matters more difficult, the people on the other side of the desert looked completely different, spoke completely different languages, worshipped completely different idols, and had their own problems to worry about. Among them were the Fulani people, one of the many ethnic groups spread across West Africa, constantly vying for control against the various other regional powers. However, with the introduction of Islam as a unifying force, the Fulani gained an upper hand against all the rest, allowing them to carry out a wave of religious expansions or jihads to establish several Islamic
what is that video?
States all across the Sudan, or the Sahel. The state of Messina, for example, can more accurately be described as the Messina Caliphate, and occupied one of the most advantageous positions in the region, including the trading hub of Timbuktu, giving them control over trade routes in and out of the Sahara. Further east, there are even more states, such as Gondo, Sokoto, Bornu, Fombina, Adamawa, Bagirmi, Wade, and Darfur, all founded by Fulani jihadists within the century leading up to this. What makes the Fulani's adoption of Islam so significant is that although the religion had already been present among the Arabs of the continent, this was the first time ethnically sub-Saharan people were embracing the religion and represented a foot in the door that could have led to the conversion of the rest of the continent. In other words, this was the moment Islam was starting to bridge the ethno-linguistic divide running through Africa, a true instance of cultural exchange. And this is important because the Christian nations of Europe definitely took notice of these jihads. This map is literal evidence of that, and viewed them as another threat to their strategic interests. Their thinking went that if Islam continued to gain power and influence throughout the continent, then so would their adversary, the Ottomans. Therefore, the only way to combat this would be to increase their own religious activity in Africa and start spreading Christianity instead, which I'll admit is another insight I didn't really have until studying this map. Europeans were so threatened by the rise of these Afro-Islamic states that they launched their own crusades onto the continent with a virtually identical goal of not only conquering but converting new subjects. And I really want us to reflect on that for a second. How big a role religion, and specifically the tension between Christianity and Islam, played in the carving up of Africa. I feel like that's not discussed enough. Though now it's finally starting to make sense why so many zealous missionaries accompanied colonial projects. I also think this helps explain why none of these states are reflected in the modern borders of Africa, as this area was later conquered entirely by the French, who did their best to erase all memory of these early Islamic states. Though fortunately for us, you can't erase ink, so this paper has preserved a glimpse at an often forgotten chapter in Africa's history. Below this block of caliphates, we'll reach the coast of Guinea, where we'll find more countries outlined in red. The first is Senegambia. This may sound familiar, as this is where the modern countries of Senegal and Gambia are now found. However, this name, Senegambia, doesn't refer to any particular nation or state, but rather is a more general name for the region. Down here, we can even see the colony of Sierra Leone labeled within the region of Senegambia. However, as we can tell from names like St. Louis and Freetown, this corner of Africa was already interacting with Europeans and had been for centuries by this point. In fact, by 1866, the British had already carved their Gambia colony out of French Senegal, so I'm not exactly sure why this region has been left a single entity. Next to this is the country of Liberia, which was perhaps the newest and strangest nation in all of Africa by this point. Technically an American colony, Liberia was founded by runaway slaves and freed men escaping oppression in America in the lead up to the Civil War. In fact, now that I think about it, since the Civil War lasted from 1861 to 1865, this being made in 1866 means that from this point on, Liberia would no longer be receiving freed African slaves, marking the end of its colonial period. It's hard to imagine what people would have thought about the creation of this new African state. Some saw it as an exciting experiment in the emancipation of enslaved people, while others saw it as a means of expelling those most likely to stir up a slave rebellion, therefore actually helping to uphold the institute of slavery. But whatever people thought, we can see there was considerable interest in this new nation, as it's the only country to have earned an entire expanded map up here, letting us see in detail the different Liberian states of Meserado, Rassa, Sinu, and who could forget, Maryland. Liberia's president during this time was Daniel Bashiel Warner, who stood as the continent's only democratically elected leader, though he too was technically a foreign ruler, having been born outside of Baltimore here in the US. Beyond Liberia, we'll find these three states included under a single red line: Ashanti, Dahomey, and Yariba. Of these, Ashanti was perhaps the most well-known, as it had organized itself into an empire prior to Europeans' arrival, and at the time of making this was under the rule of Kwaka Duapanan, an ambitious ruler dedicated to expanding the Ashanti domain into neighboring lands. This fighting spirit is what enabled the Ashanti to resist British colonial efforts on 4 separate occasions, starting in the 1820s, then the 1860s, 1870s, and 1890s, each time repelling British forces in a series of conflicts known as the Anglo-Ashanti Wars. It was only on their 4th and 5th campaigns in 1903 that the British were finally able to establish a foothold on the coast, and from there claim control over the Ashanti, making them one of the very last African nations to succumb to colonial rule. Though at the time this was made, only the 1st and 2nd Anglo-Ashanti Wars had been fought, resulting in what we see here, the fully independent nation of Ashanti. Next to that is the state of Dahomey. Now, we already learned about this kingdom a little in my previous video, but technically that was French Dahomey, whereas this is the independent kingdom of Dahomey, currently under the rule of King Glele, who presided over another incredibly wealthy African kingdom. Glele made his fortunes by launching raids into surrounding lands and bringing captured people back to coastal markets for sale to European merchant ships. And it was from the Dahomey slave markets that most Africans bought and brought across the Atlantic to America originated. In fact, King Glele oversaw the very last cargo of slaves ever brought to the United States aboard the Clotilda, which feels pretty significant if you ask me. Ironically, the end of the transatlantic slave trade is what ultimately weakened Dahomey enough for the French to step in and colonize them like all the rest. But at least here on this map, we can see Dahomey as it was in its full and final form. Though after looking at this part of the map for so long, I couldn't help but notice this curious detail as well, a mountain range known as the Kong Mountains, stretching from Senegambia all the way across Guinea. Of course, if you're familiar with the geography of Western Africa, you'll know there's no such mountain range spanning this part of the continent. So what's going on here? Well, if you'll recall, a few years ago, I made a video about the search for the source of the Nile River, a quest that ended in the mythical Mountains of the Moon. Although the small Ruwenzori mountain range did end up fitting this description, legends of these mountains
of the Moon, that sounds fucking real mythological, bruh. Wow. All the way, if this is true, all the way across Africa? God damn!
Most cartographers to blow them far out of proportion, eventually claiming they ran all the way across the continent, even into West Africa. At the same time, European explorers were also struggling to find the source of the Niger River and attributed their difficulty once again to locating these non-existent mountains. Although these were initially thought to be connected directly to the Mountains of the Moon, as more of the interior was explored, a massive continuous mountain chain became increasingly less realistic, and so eventually this feature had to be fractured, with the eastern half remaining the Mountains of the Moon and the western half now going by the Kong Mountains. Legends of the Kong Mountains persisted for the next 100 years as explorers continued to make fruitless attempts at penetrating the interior and locating the Niger's source. And I just love details like this so much, as they reveal how much mystery still surrounded this place, at least in the eyes of Westerners. After this is Yoruba, another African country, not exactly.
See, that's the thing, bro. I love history so much, bro. I can't even, like, there's just so much about history you can learn. Fake history, real history, the actual, like, esoteric history. It's just, I love it, bro.
Represented by any modern borders. During this time, however, the Yoruba people were organized into what's now called the Oyo Empire, ruled not by a Bey or Khedive, but rather the Alafin. When this map was made, Olujide Adelu Agunlowe was the Alafin in power, though he would soon hand rule over to his brother Adeyemi Alowoladu, who would serve as the last sovereign ruler of the Yoruba people before the British came knocking, though at this time their main threat was still the neighboring Dahomey, who continued to raid their villages. Beyond the lands of Guinea were the lands of Lower Guinea, though separating them was this narrow strip of apparently unclaimed land, and I couldn't help but spot another curious detail here, as it's this river, the Liba River, that was used as the dividing line between these two regions. Following it from the Ghanaian coast, this river leads deep into the continent, to its source, the Liba Lake. The weird thing is, when I tried to find this body of water, there's nothing in this part of Africa. There is no—
Bro, that is, I'm not even gonna lie to you, other than traveling around India and Pakistan, I think traveling around Africa is like my second biggest dream. India and Pakistan are the two like continents, because they were one at one point, right? Like I would like to travel that as my first dream. Second dream would be fucking just Africa, bro. Like just spend your whole life just traveling Africa, streaming it and recording it as like a documentary. Oh my god, that would be so much fun.
Liba River, and there is no Liba Lake. So it seems like what we have here is another feature imagined up by hopeful European explorers. Though unlike the Kong Mountains, I wasn't able to find anything written about this mysterious lost lake, and it seems like the myth of Lake Liba has faded from all popular memory. Though this is just the beginning, as if we look further inland, we'll find this massive basin has been outlined and labeled as the location of a supposed Great Lake of Africa. At first, I thought this might be an early interpretation of one of the actual Great Lakes of Africa, but further east, we'll see them all already accounted for. Lake Albert, Victoria, Tanganyika, Malawi, everyone's here. So then this must be something else. Why they thought a massive lake existed at the heart of Africa is really anyone's guess, but I suspect it has something to do with explorers noticing just how huge and deep the Congo Basin was, and started theorizing there must be a lake somewhere at the bottom of it. Though unfortunately, I also couldn't find any mention of this supposed Great Lake online either, and not even other maps from a similar time featured it, so it must be a quirk of this map, which I think again helps illustrate how much remained unknown about Africa during this time. In fact, nearby we'll find another intriguing detail along the equator, where we can read this to be the probable direction of a great mountain chain. And I believe this to be a direct reference to the Mountains of the Moon. Thought to have been the source of the Nile for thousands of years, it appears this mythical mountain range was moved a bit further south in recent times to line up with the latest expeditions into the Nile's tributaries. And again, I just find details like this so fascinating. The idea that these mountains have existed in people's imaginations since ancient Egyptian times and were still being used on maps less than 200 years ago never ceases to amaze me. Continuing south along the shore, we'll enter the region known as Lower Guinea, where there's another series of coastal kingdoms. First is the kingdom of Loengo, below that was the kingdom of Congo, then Angola, Bengay, Mozambique, Ovampo, Damara, and finally Great Namakwa land. I found this really interesting, as I only recognized two of these names, Congo and Angola, which apparently were only some of the many kingdoms vying for regional dominance, though as we can see, by this time no one had really won out. It wouldn't be until the Portuguese empowered the king of Congo, known as the Manicongo, through trading guns in exchange for slaves, that the Manicongo would gain the upper hand on his neighbors and establish Congo as the biggest regional power. At the time of our map's printing, the Manicongo on the throne was Pedro Elelo. As his name suggests, Pedro was a product of the Portuguese meddling that had been taking place here since the 1500s, and eventually would be the first Manicongo to submit to being a Portuguese vassal. The story is very similar for Angola, which until this point had always been a lesser African kingdom, at times even a tributary state to the Congo, that is until the Portuguese arrived and established their own colony here. Their purpose was again the acquisition of slaves to be brought to work on Brazilian plantations, leading Angola to launch numerous raids into the lands further south, expanding the colony of Angola until it had consumed the rest of these lesser states, erasing names like Bengay, Mozambique, Ovampo, and Damara from the map for good. Moving to the opposite side of the continent lands us in the Horn of Africa, where we'll find another significant state, Abyssinia, the predecessor to Ethiopia. Although the red line encircling it implies unity, for some reason Abyssinia is the only country to be broken up into its constituent territories. This may hint toward the fact that Abyssinia wasn't a true nation, but rather an empire formed from the conquest of numerous small states. Commanding this collection of states was Emperor Tewodros II, or Theodore II, who worked hard with great success in the early years of his reign to reunite his country. But now his empire was crumbling as he struggled to resist British advances, and 2 years after the making of this, the emperor would take his own life with a pistol as British soldiers stormed his citadel during the Battle of Magdala. Beyond Abyssinia, we'll find the lands of Somalis, which has also been left colorless, seemingly implying this wasn't thought of as an organized nation yet, but rather a collection of people of similar ethnic groups, such as the Rahuan, the Marahan, the Wagadan, the Midjertain, and so on. Seeing how many different people groups shared these lands might help explain why the modern country of Somalia has struggled to maintain unity in the wake of decolonization. However, I was surprised to find that what's now the majority of Ethiopia was actually part of this green territory, Gallas. Now, I'll be honest, not a lot of results came up when I googled this name, but once I realized Gallas was an antiquated name for the Oromo people, it all started to make sense, as the Oromo are the largest ethnic group in the Horn of Africa and are a mostly nomadic people moving their herds of goats between different parts of the region. And I believe that's why Gallas is not outlined in red, as the territory of the Oromo really was impossible to define.
Crazy to go camping there. You meet people that have never seen Wi-Fi, that have never seen any of that world. You're like, you have electricity? You have batteries? What? You might be like a fucking alien to them, bro.
Back then, and so the best map makers could do was include the general area that they were known to be. Another example of how the language of the map actually provides us further insight into the ways of life of the people they depict. I also find it worth noting how what would eventually become Ethiopia was at this time split between at least 3 separate territories, mostly along ethnic lines, which I again can't help but feel provides us with some valuable insight into the inner tensions within Ethiopia today. Below this, we'll find the territory of Zanzibar clinging to the Swahili coast. Although I've never quite read this name before, I do know that not far offshore lies the island of Zanzibar, and I can't help but feel like these must be connected. At this time, Zanzibar was a bustling port made rich once again mostly through the dealing of slaves, taken from East Africa and bound for Arabia and beyond. This had been taking place for hundreds of years already, making the East African slave trade perhaps the oldest and largest operation of its kind on the continent, and at its heart was this island. However, this too had come under foreign rule in recent times, not by any European powers, but rather the Sultan of Oman, who commanded a rich mercantile empire all along the Indian Ocean. From this island, countless raids were launched into surrounding lands, extending Zanzibar's domain into what would become known as Zanzibar. And I think this is another too often overlooked chapter in Africa's history, as Arabs had been colonizing and slave trading in these parts for centuries by this point, while Europeans were still being terrorized by Barbary pirates. This is again worth noting because this horrible practice, the East African slave trade, was another moral justification Europeans eventually used to extend their own control into the region. Famous explorers like David Livingstone and Henry Morton Stanley dedicated their lives to the goal of ending the Zanzibari slave trade, only for their efforts to end up facilitating the further exploitation of these lands at the hands of new colonial masters. Though, at least here on this map, the name Zanzibar preserves the memory of these Omani slavers and helps shed light on a time and place in Africa's history too often overlooked. Beyond this lived the Unyamwezi and the Iloagab. I'll admit these names were another challenge to research, as I had to learn the hard way we now refer to these groups as the Nyamwezi and the Loikop, who still inhabit these areas today. Though if their territory's lack of color or definition on this map is any clue, I'm gonna go ahead and say neither were perceived as unified nations at this point, but rather decentralized communities. Continuing down the coast, we'll arrive at Mozambique, another name we should recognize, but as we can see, this version of Mozambique was much smaller than its modern form. Sadly, being directly south of Zanzibar, this area was subject to constant Arab slave raids, and so the area failed to develop any power structures of its own by the time the Portuguese staked a claim. Here, they established their own island foothold on the island of, you guessed it, Mozambique, from which they launched their own incursions into the interior and took their own slaves. But unlike the Arabs, after reaping a harvest of slaves...
Bro, it feels like slavery was just a big issue back in the day, bro. Like, these motherfuckers was just, like, wanting that fucking free labor, bro. Like, that's the problem. Like, I know slavery in America was, like, bad because these motherfuckers were doing it based on skin color, but slavery was just bad all around, bro. These motherfuckers is just wanting that fucking good money, bro. Like, they were just getting any and everybody, bro. It's crazy.
Portuguese remained on these lands and tried starting new business ventures such as plantations, establishing the colony of Mozambique, which had already existed for 200 years by the time this map was printed. Below that are 2 more states I'm rather unfamiliar with, Monomotapa and Sofala. Though in my defense, Monomotapa is the outdated Portuguese term for what we now refer to as the Kingdom of Mutape. This was another rich and powerful pre-colonial African nation, and one of the surprising few whose wealth was attained not through the trade of slaves, but rather by operating a number of gold mines. Although this gave rise to a rich society based on something other than the exploitation of its own people, unfortunately these gold mines reminded Europeans of the legend of King Solomon's mines, another mythic land of gold similar to El Dorado, luring numerous expeditions into these lands in search of fortune and glory. Even though these searches for mountains of gold all ended in failure, the knowledge gained from these ventures again laid the groundwork for future colonization. But at least during this time, this afforded Monomotapa their own sovereignty. Sofala, on the other hand, is where all the Mutapan gold was brought for trade, painting an even bigger target on it. For a time, the Mutapa even ruled these lands directly as some kind of tributary state, but with the hopes of controlling the gold trade, the Portuguese gradually advanced into the lands of Sofala to expand their Mozambique colony. Even deeper in the interior, we'll find several more poorly understood states, such as the Londa Empire or the Makololo people. Occupying the rugged interior, these groups proved a challenge for Westerners to understand or define, as they too were often warring with one another for regional supremacy, causing land to change hands faster than explorers could report on it. So I understand why these areas were left vague and colorless. Another name I found interesting in this area is the Kazembe Reich, one more minor African kingdom that sadly fell victim to frequent slave raids. These raids forced the Kazembe people to flee their homelands and disperse more widely across the region, completely destabilizing the kingdom or Reich, which might help explain why their lands have also been left undefined. As to why it's been labeled a Reich, the German word for kingdom remains a mystery to me, though if I had to guess, it probably has something to do with Germany's explorations of this region. But the German East Africa Company was only founded in 1884, well after the printing of this, so I'm not really sure what to make of it. Below the lands of the Kazembe and the Lunda were the Bechuanas, who also did not have a defined territory. However, this makes more sense when you understand that the Swana people's ancestral homelands were further south in what were then the countries of Transvaal, the Orange Free State, Natal, and Kaffraria. These weren't native African states, but rather were founded by the Boers, a group of Dutch settlers who arrived on the southern end of the continent 200 years before the making of this map. Initially, the Boers settled around the unpopulated southern Cape, but eventually the British would take control over the strategic position, establishing their own Cape colony here. Unable to resist British aggression, the Boers fled the Cape for the interior, finding themselves on the lands of the Swana people. Here, they established a handful of their own states, in turn displacing the Swana to the north, resulting in no sort of organized state, but rather a collection of refugees thrust into a new land. If you'd like to see the Cape Colony in more detail, it's the third and final map inset up here, letting us once again see the individual states of the colony. While most of these aren't all that interesting, as they are again European-drawn administrative boundaries, I did manage to find one more neat name here, Great Bushman Land. This refers to the San people, otherwise derogatorily referred to as Bushmen, who represent a fascinating human lineage that can be traced back to the earliest humans to walk out of East Africa. Having maintained the same hunter-gatherer lifestyle as our ancestors, the various San people never organized into any formidable unified state, again resulting in Great Bushman Land lacking any kind of definition. But alright, that's pretty much the whole map. There are of course loads more names and places, but that was everything outlined and colored in. So what did we learn from all this? Well, if you ask me, I was surprised to find that even though the scramble for Africa is said to have started in the 1880s, as we can see from this map, Europeans, Arabs, and Turks had already been carving up this continent for centuries by this point. Yet it's also fair to say that by 1866...
We've been analyzed. We have definitely, most definitely have seen a Americanized history. Because the war winners are the victors, and the victors write the fucking history. We've seen it 1,000 times.
Africa was still a rich and complex place full of sovereign nations. Of course, I'm aware this was still made by Westerners. Heck, it was printed right here in New York, so I can't really say this comes from an authentically African perspective per se, but at the very least, the borders we saw, the names we read, and the history we learned was that of the people who actually lived here in the moments before Africa was forever altered by colonization. And I think that's what I love most about old maps like this. With nothing but ink on paper, the memory of long-forgotten people and places has been preserved, providing us a window to gaze back in time with to see for ourselves what Africa was really like back in 1866. Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you all know that if you've been enjoying these clips,
bro, that's the thing. We don't know who is giving us our history. That's the real question, bro. When you start tracking who's traveling from Asia to the end of Asia, right? Like I mean, there's so many borders, you can't even say whatever, but at the end of the day, the reality is, man, whoever's giving your history has the absolute lock on your mindset. Because we thought Asia was the biggest fucking continent in the world. Why? Because they never really explored Africa like that. So they never really can give you a set in stone type history because they don't know themselves. And that's what I feel like truly this channel is about. It's like, bro, you explore what you can. Do the best you can. I want you to learn about yourself. There's nothing I can teach you. There's nothing that others can teach you that your soul doesn't already know. And that's truly what it is. I feel like the way the world is moving, the way things are moving, we really need to sit back and enjoy life. I feel like the things that we're learning in this world are so different than they used to be truly. Listen, chat, like I feel like you need to kick back and really sit back and have that vibe fully. I obviously need to fix the thing up there. But I obviously need you to feel the absolute vibe of what I'm saying. Because look, bro, the way the world is moving, genuinely, it's all about the way you really truly sit back and really process the information. Because the way that we're moving, I don't know how we're gonna go. I'm really on the boat of, look, humanity is gonna win somehow. I need you to get you a cold one. Genuinely get you a cold one. Get you a real absolute cold one. Cause we all need to unite together. That's as simple as that. That's all I truly know. All I really genuinely know, that the fucking way we're moving is not how we should be moving. That's the genuine absolute what I'm feeling down to the core. Cause look, there's people that are genuinely sad and absolutely struggling. The way the world is moving, we're all struggling together. The fucking problem is that we're not admitting to it. Because there are some people that are genuinely winning, that are fucking absolutely at the top. Top 10% absolutely, most definitely. And that bottom 10% is really not able to do what they're supposed to do, because why? They're wanting to get in that top 10%. And that's the fucking American dream. And that's what it is, truly, at the end of the day. It's an American dream. It's a dream, delusional dream. And that's the thing. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm drinking a cold one, you know? Shake that thing up. And I'm chasing the dream of being a fucking comedian that is testing the boundaries, is testing the fun that we really truly can have. And that's the thing, a lot of people that really truly make it, that really get to that level of superstardom, that become actual great comedians, they stop questioning what they were originally questioning. Why? Because they were able to end up supporting themselves and end up having a lifeline. At the end of the day, that's what money really truly is. It's a lifeline to be able to prevent disaster, able to prevent the ups and downs of life, able to be stable. And that's what money did. That's what truly being in this matrix did. It provided a level of stability that life couldn't give you. Right? I'm getting real conspiratorial here, but like, it gave you a level of stability that real life couldn't give you, because back in the day, a storm comes in, a bad weather comes in, your whole lineage is gone. If we're getting real biblical over here, look. Matrix gave you a system to fall into, a level of safety that you couldn't feel before back in the day. If we're really talking biblical and historical, bro, if a fucking bad storm came, your whole village could have been gone, right? Like, if you get a flood, your whole village could have been gone. So the Matrix gave you a level of stability. So I get it. So I genuinely get it why people get stuck in it, because it gave you a level of, hey, it might be all right. You might have to pay 50% in taxes, but it will be all right, because it gives you the stability of your whole family being safe. But what happens, the whole system is bought in to this facade, because sure, at the beginning they gave you the stability, but now at the end of the day, it's all a facade, because they're not building enough to be able to support you. And that's when Medicare and Medicaid and all this other tickety-cacketies comes in, right? Like China was able to bring this whole communist manifestos over here for you, where they said, hey, we got enough households for everybody to have a house and everybody to be able to have a job and a shelter at the same time without having to make $700K a month. Because nowadays, motherfuckers making $100K a month and they talking about I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Fuck is you talking about, bro? Now $100K a year is not good enough? You gotta make at least $1 million to really survive in these streets. And that's what gets really scary. Communism doesn't sound too bad when it's I might have a house and rent money. Hey, yo, we might be on some. And that's when communism doesn't sound bad. That's not good, chat. That's not good, chat. I'm just saying, that's just my vibe, though. I feel like that's not good because it's giving the wrong mindset. When you're talking about democracy, when you're talking about everybody owning a home or having freedom, hey, yo, what? Why? I thought it was part of the same block. I didn't know there was two different ways of going about this. Either you can have freedom or if you can have a house. What? I thought that was the American dream. Am I making sense or am I just bullshitting? I don't know. I'm having a cold one. Chat, look. I'm having a cold one. I thought that was the American dream. Not just only having freedom, but also having a fucking household. And now there's no fucking American in the fucking 21st century talking about, hey, bro, I might be able to get my first household. I might be able to get a bad bitch. I might be able to have a family. Because now everything that you do has to be taxed, has to have a reason to be able to be taxed. But, hey, look, what do I know, though? I'm just a fucking degenerate loser, am I not? And I feel like that's what the problem is. They labeled you. They put a fucking label on you on a level to where you're like, bro, maybe I might be the problem. But you're not the fucking problem. They fucking made the whole system the problem. And that's the whole analogy when it really comes down to it. The whole system might be the problem. The whole fucking orange bag might be the problem, chat. You got one, oh no, you got one fucking orange that might be the problem, but either you throw out the bag or you go out with the bag. I don't know, chat. I hope you had a good one. I hope you have a cold one. I hope you have a good one. 'Cause until next time.